Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Taylor. Welcome to Spitball. I'm here with my good buddy,
Kyle Amundsen.
and we're doing a little social distancing together.
Indeed. I'm too handsome for a mask. That would be like a crime against nature. But Matt's wearing one.
I am, yeah. But I got to take it off to drink my beer.
Do you though, or would it just be like waterboarding with beers?
Ooh, I'm open to that.
We should try that. That sounds like a game, like a good bar game.
That's like doing a keg stand,
Yeah.
but like waterboarding with beer. No, so my good friend Carla donated a bunch of these masks to she gave them to me, but they're for people that like are essential workers. They're giving a ton of them to like the first responders and so on and so forth. But she has a company called Cherrywood Fabrics, and they do these awesome hand dyed fabrics, and they're really neat. They kind of look like suede almost, and what they're doing. They first started out just donating a bunch of fabric, and people could like take it home and sew it up, but that wasn't sustainable, obviously, because it costs money to make fabric, obviously. But what they have on their website is you can, for $25, you can get a kit, and it'll make 8 masks, and then it comes with a pattern on how to sew them. And then if you want, you can drop them back off there and they'll distribute them, or you can just give them to whoever you want or use them yourself or so on and so forth. But they're really well made, and they have like a little pocket on the inside of them so you can put in an extra filter if you want to, which is pretty awesome. And they're just great. And then some people, obviously have time on their hands right now and are able to sew, but some people but don't have money. They're not able to so they're willing to do the work, but they're not willing. They just don't have the cash to put it out there. Everybody's strapped right now. But on their website, they have a GoFundMe. So if you're in a position where you have more money than you have time, I don't know anybody in that position, but if you're in that position, you can just support the GoFundMe, and then they give the fabric to somebody to sew it, and then distribute it out. So it's pretty awesome watching people step up to the plate during this time.
Man, my buddy Ian got a hold of me from over at the Tea Hive. A couple weeks ago, and they're doing the same thing. They've like converted over from like doing shirts and stuff to doing masks and
right.
What are they called? Anyway, just that kind of apparel.
Personal protective.
Yeah.
PP.
It's
personal protective gear. Is that what it is? It doesn't matter. We don't need to know. We're spitballing.
Oh.
I think that's awesome. And then, like I said the other week, my buddy Gavin, our buddy Gavin, he pivoted his whole thing to start doing sanitizer. And I just got a hold of him because at my work we are looking for some sanitizer, as is everybody else. But we want to give it out to our youth. I got a hold of him and asked him if he was able to get any, and he said, I'll let you know as soon as I can. But right now we're trying to fill this humongous order, and we're so far behind. But they're doing like 55-gallon drums of that stuff.
Damn.
So, yeah. Well, he doesn't do anything small, but that's pretty cool.
55 gallons of sanitizer.
Yeah.
That get me through a weekend in Bacchus.
Right.
Shit.
Speaking of the Tea Hive. They have partnered up with the 9th Street Social Club here, and have made some pretty awesome T-shirts.
What do those shirts look like?
They look like schmediums.
Oh man, So I'm wearing a double X right now, and if it looks like I'm wearing a medium or a small, perhaps, it's because I'm getting fat as fuck, not working out for weeks and weeks. Being around the house, eating a lot. My wife is a wonderful cook. When I do the grocery shopping, I buy snacks. So mostly I'm like binge watching stuff and fucking eating, and like it's getting to the point where it's getting really fucking hard for me to like it's a fight, it's a struggle, and it's noisy for me to like get off the couch.
You're gonna have to get one of those ones that lift you up.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie and say that like I haven't been enjoying like my little gym hiatus.
Right. No, yeah, it's weird.
You know, where I'm just eating what I want and not fucking working out. But I have to look at myself naked. Do I have to look at myself naked? Just be glad you don't have to look at myself naked. But I see myself and I'm just like, whoa, and I am visibly fucking falling apart.
Well, I think it's okay because I don't know how long this is going to go on, and the more you gain, the more I just think how good you'll look butchered.
Right? More marbling.
You'll be all marbled. You'll be like a Kobe, Kobe Kyle.
You got any more of that cow bacon? Shit's delicious.
Oh my God! So a million years ago, Peyton and I were working on a project together where we were we called it Survive and Thrive, and he was it was like a post-apocalyptic, like a kid lands in this post-apocalyptic time, and he's trying to survive. And we did one episode where we made he made a crossbow out of just junk that we found in the barn.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Well, I'll put a link to it. I actually been intending to like revisit it and edit it down because it was like 20 minutes long and we had a lot of fluff in there. But anyway, but we were talking about additional episodes to this, and the idea is it was a zombie apocalypse, right? And we got into a pretty deep discussion about whether or not you could eat zombie meat.
I wondered about that myself. See, that's like I initially. Well, the thought occurred to me when I was like, can you eat a zombie? And I was like, well, yeah, on these shows like on The Walking Dead and stuff, you see these hordes of zombies like chasing people. And I was like, if you could eat zombies without catching the disease, without like becoming a zombie,
right?
Like, what weapon would I take into the zombie apocalypse? Barbecue sauce.
Right.
And then you'd see like Kyle chasing just mobs of zombies.
And they're like, and then they're like, fuck. Oh,
right? And I'm like,
Kyle's coming with a fork in a bottle of fucking
a fucking bib. And then like next season, I'm getting like fatter. So like the big drama is like, God's getting too fat to catch zombies, you know?
So Peyton and I like had a big discussion about it, and we were following the rules of The Walking Dead essentially, right? Because so this particular, so basically where, zombies were slow and whatever. But also that like we already all had the disease. Because in The Walking Dead, like,
so not those 28 days later,
no,
like
fucking
fucking
zombies.
fast zombies. Those
Yeah.
those are scary.
Yeah, they're harder to eat because you can't catch them.
Oh.
Yeah. But if you're following the rules of The Walking Dead, we agreed that you could probably eat zombie because in The Walking Dead, they're hacking zombies up with hatchets and shit, and there's blood everywhere. So if you would turn just because you got a little zombie blood in your mouth, that would have happened. People would have been turning left and right. So it's logical that you could probably eat zombie. And our thinking was that it was probably that the zombie virus or whatever it was probably somehow like related to like rabies, right? Because if a zombie bites you, you die, but it doesn't turn you into a zombie. You're already a zombie because if you just die because you get shot, it turns you into a zombie, right?
Yeah, it's airborne in The Walking Dead.
Right, that's the way. So our thinking was that you could probably eat a zombie. So we scripted out an episode of this, right? And this is what it was. So Peyton would be sitting there. Because he was always trying to teach you how to do something. That was like the whole idea, like teach you how to make a crossbow. So Peyton would be sitting there, and he'd teach you how to make this thing called like a Swedish stove, and it's where you take a log and you chop it into 4 sections.
Not to be confused with the Dutch oven.
Right, not to be confused at all with a Dutch oven, though you could use a Dutch oven on a Swedish stove. So you chop a log into 4 pieces, and then you pull the log slightly apart, and then you build a fire in the slots, and then you have a spot where you can cook on the top of it. So that's what he'd be showing you. And then he'd get out his frying pan or whatever, and he'd get out this like chunk of meat, and then he'd put his oil in, and he'd start frying up this chunk of meat. And the whole time he'd be talking about the Swedish oven. And then at the end he'd be like, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I don't know if I had mentioned this or not, but like I was thinking about whether or not you could eat zombie, right? So, I'm going to give it a try. And he'll cut a piece of the meat off on his fork, right? Then he'd get up, and behind him, I have like this leg, like a severed leg, and it'd be sticking out of his backpack, and then he'd walk over to a tree, and there would be a chick tied up to the tree, right? And she would, of course, be wearing a really tight T-shirt that said "Vegan for Life," right? And he's like, "Well, I'm not stupid enough to try it myself," and then he'd shove it in her mouth, and then on a later episode, we were going to talk about how to make jerky, and then it was going to be Fred jerky, like, oh, what kind of jerky is this? Fred jerky. Yeah. Anyway, we never got around to making more than one episode, but it was pretty fun. So that was a long way around to talk about these wonderful shirts. So we got these shirts from the Tea Hive, and you can get your very own Be Social at a Distance shirt. If you are listening at home, the shirt says Be Social, which is obviously the slogan of the Ninth Street Social Club.
Mantra, if you will.
Yep. And it says Be Social at a distance, and then there's a little mask on the guy in the middle. So
on the smiley face.
On the smiley face. So I really suggest you go out and pick one up. They're $25. You can get them online. It's I don't have the web address, but I'll post it. Or you can just go to the Ninth Street Social Club Facebook, and it's on there. But here's the cool thing.
But you can't stop by the Ninth Street Social Club and pick one up.
You can't. No. Only we can. But Rob and Aaron are doing a contest, a selfie contest.
Oh, yeah.
And on Wednesday, April 15th, I think is when it is, right? Wednesday, April 15th, they're going to pick a winner at random. But in order to enter the contest, you have to snap a selfie of yourself. Ooh, it's a weird word.
Can we just use Can we just use a still from the video?
Well, yeah, we are.
Fuck yeah.
We can. Fuck yeah, we can. But
that's why we're gonna win.
We're obviously gonna win. And they're giving away like a $50 tab for the drawing, which you get to use in 7 or 8 months. But and then they're going to continue to do that. They're going to continue to have different contests or whatever. So I think that's pretty cool. So if you get yourself a Be Social at a Distance shirt, make sure that you snap a selfie of yourself and post it on their Facebook page. And you could also come on over and post it on the Spitballing Facebook page, because we just like to see that shit. We're not giving anything away, but we like to see that shit.
Some advice. We'll give you some advice.
Yeah, sage advice. Even if we don't have Danny Sage Sargent with us.
Indeed.
And then
Danny, miss you, love you.
Yeah, I miss Danny too. I still gotta make that shirt for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So on the episode with Danny Sargent, we talked about a story where he had this crazy dream about Kyle, like throwing somebody out of the bar, and
just hulking out.
But he was totally hulking out, and then Danny had to go up to him and like calm him down, like the scene out of one of the Avengers movies, and he's saying,
sun's getting real low, big guy.
Yeah, sun's getting real low, big guy. And I did a pretty cool design for a shirt that actually, turned out pretty good. So, and I haven't done shit about it yet. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into the meat and gravy and mashed potatoes.
There I go again.
Sorry, I talked about food. Is what we're going to do next week for our episode.
I never did get back to you on that.
No,
but
you're
I think
an
the
asshole.
idea is brilliant. I am an asshole. I'm like an undercover asshole. A lot of people don't know about it, but I am secretly a fucking asshole.
Huge. I'm not making... that was not a fat joke. But you are a huge asshole. So next week, we're going to do a different... okay, I'm having a hell of a lot of fun just hanging out with Kyle. But it's... it's nice to also have on guests, but this is not the time for us to do that. Obviously.
No. But there's other ways that we can mix it up a little.
We call it the tube technology. And it's also called a phone call. So, because a bunch of the people that I want to talk to, that we want to talk to, you guys, you're not set up to like do a remote podcast at your place and so on and so forth. But most of you have phones. So what we're going to do is we're going to call up our friends, and we're not going to be able to do everybody that we want to talk to. But we're going to call up some of our friends, and we're going to check in on them. So it's going to be a call out episode. And if you're interested in having us give you a call, what you need to do is you need to personal message us on the Spitballing Facebook page, or you can message me or Kyle, whatever.
That will increase your chances of us getting a hold of you. Although there are many of you that will receive phone calls from us whether you agree to it or not.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So if you want us to call you, you will have to give us your phone number, all right? And then we will call you. We won't be publishing those.
Don't make us Facebook call you. That's just weird.
We're not Facebook calling anybody. And then next
as far as you know,
Tuesday is when we're gonna shoot the show from about 2 to let's say 6, and we'll be giving people a call and checking in with them. So, and I got kind of a list of people already that I'm interested in contacting.
Yes.
And so that should be fun.
Agreed.
Yeah. You ready for my list, motherfucker?
I am very ready for your list. I'm very curious. You told me that there wasn't much crossover.
No,
so-
there's a lot of crossover, but
Is there?
you just had a lot of holes.
Oh, well,
Gaping holes in your giant asshole.
yes.
I'm not. I'm going to try to be sneaky about
Fair
it.
enough,
Because
fair enough.
last week when we, okay, so
If it helps, I don't have my glasses on and I can't see
Oh,
this anyway.
perfect. Then that's great. Don't put your glasses on. So last week, Kyle kind of went through his top 5 of all-time television shows, and there was about 39 of them. 39 of his top 5.
It's 5-ish.
So, so this week I took some time and I sat down and I really tried to think through it, and come up with my 5. And like Kyle said, yeah, you can just throw them right there. Just throw them on the floor.
See, when I first saw these, I thought we were going to be wearing these for the show. I was going to say, I'm going to need something a little larger, a bigger loincloth. Not a lot larger, but larger.
I would think that this would be nice. We could do them as like bikinis. Just do 2 of them.
Ooh, that too. I
That's
like
not
it.
bad.
I like it.
Keeping the nipples sickness free.
Yeah, keeping this shit PG-13.
Oh, I should probably mention that. So, if you guys can't see, if you're listening, or if you can't see because my microphone's in the way, I got some. I did some facial sculpting.
Yes.
It's
It's looking good. I like it.
it's
kinda
the Joe
cowboy-like.
Exotic.
Yes.
Yes. I saw Brandy Roach had a TikTok video. Did you see that fucking thing?
I did, yes.
I about pissed my pants when I saw it. And I was like,
Brandy's funny. We need to get her on the show.
I would love to
sometime.
have her on the show. Maybe we'll call her next week.
That's a good idea. For starters.
She has this really funny Facebook post where she's like basically doing an impersonation of Joe Exotic, and she like did the facial hair and everything. And I was like, I am gonna one up that bitch so bad. And I intended to do it today on the show, but my mullet hat didn't arrive. Amazon's so backed
Damn
up.
you, Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's so backed up. I'm not gonna get it till the
Package.
26th. I'm like, what the fuck?
Ooh.
I know. So much for 2 days shipping. But yeah. So that's coming. That's coming.
26th. Well, that's a Monday, and we usually shoot on Tuesdays.
Oh
so,
yeah,
I mean,
we'll be ready.
the only reason I know that's a Monday is because the NFL draft is Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Are they even doing it? I thought they canceled all sports forever.
Oh, not the draft.
Bummer.
It'll be weird, but they're gonna do it. I live
And
for
then
that shit.
speaking of being fat, so I took a picture of my new facial hair, and I took a selfie. I think it might be the only selfie I've ever taken, honestly. But I posted it on Facebook, and a buddy of mine, kind of a buddy, he's an asshole, Dan Wales. He's super tough though, so if you heard that, Dan, you're an asshole. He really is, man. He could just be the biggest dick. But he is an interesting and fun guy.
It's probably how we got to be tough.
He said, yeah, probably. He said, from the picture, he goes, oh, dude, like, you need to do another fast, you fat fuck, or whatever. I was like, what an asshole.
Well, you looked kind of jolly in the picture.
I
The
just-
picture did not really even look like
Okay,
you.
fine, but it's like It's like, was this the fucking? I don't want to take a fucking selfie. I'm not a master like
Well,
Meta.
I
Meta's
mean-
like the selfie master. Like she.
It didn't look like you though. Like you don't look like that. You're not jowly. Like I'm the jowly one.
Well,
like,
it's hard to
when I
take a
turn
fucking
my head
selfie.
this way, my fucking jowls swing this way.
So he was making fun of me, but I responded by saying like, well, this is the fucking pandemic fast, you know, it's 17 squares a day, and you know, which isn't untrue. You know, it's really hard to like
Man.
focus on diet when you're when when you have a abundance of time to eat.
Yeah.
Like, and I still have been eating, you know, relatively healthy, but I start thinking, I mean, I'm like, man, what am I going to cook for dinner? And just like, I'm like planning, because I have time to plan meals, and, you know.
Yeah, all about the food. But so yeah, about the phone calls. Definitely get a hold of us. Like I said, we might like randomly call some of you that don't get a hold of us. We'll see what we can do about that. If you have a suggestion, if there's somebody that you'd like us to call, get a hold of them. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, as long as they can, you know, if they can hear from us like during, you know, the middle of a day on a Tuesday, that's cool.
What
Well-
the fuck else they doing?
Right? I mean, we'll try to keep it cool. You know, it won't get too weird. Like, oh, you won't have Kyle on the other line being like, "What I really want to know is
What are you wearing?"
what you got on right now."
And everybody will say the same thing.
T-shirt
Like,
and my panties on.
oh, this was supposed to be the all singing episode.
Oh yes, yes. That was some Medina Howard T-shirt and panties. That shit was
They're wearing
great back in the
pajamas.
day.
That's what everybody's wearing.
Yeah, man. I am saving a fortune on laundry. I'm not bathing. I'm wearing the same shit. Like I put a thing. I wrote that put that haiku on Facebook.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
know, my just you know, the baby like throws up on me and shit. I'm like, oh, gross! Look at that. Next day, I'm like, yeah, I should wash this. Day after that, I'm like, oh, you threw up on me over here. Now I got matching throw up. You know, like, yeah, fuck, I'm disgusting.
Yeah, it happens to the best.
You
of
know.
us. So, I didn't really organize my list with the top 5. I just jumped on in, but
Do it.
I'm just going to quickly run through all of the ones that I totally agreed with Kyle on and thought were wonderful, and we don't have to discuss them in much depth because, we talked pretty extensively about each different one last week. So, but on Kyle's list and mine, Battlestar Galactica, bam, must be, have to do it. As well as The Expanse. Those are like the two top fucking sci-fi picks, in my opinion. Period.
Yeah, if you like sci-fi, especially if you dig like military sci-fi,
Yeah.
Battlestar
Yeah,
Galactica,
both of
and
them.
yeah, both.
Yeah. And then the other one that I
Fucking
have in that sci-fi category
Martian Space Marine
is
motherfuckers.
Altered Carbon, season 1.
Season 1 for sure.
So I feel like our Altered Carbon is like Conan the Barbarian.
yes,
There was only one. Regardless of how many they made, there was only one Conan the Barbarian.
because the first season crushed my
Was
enemies. I saw them
fucking
driven before me,
great.
and I heard the limitation of the wind.
And I'm not even going to finish season 2. So,
Nope.
but I really thought Altered
Don't waste the
Carbon was
fucking time.
probably one of the, it's for sure one of the best Netflix original series seasons
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very good.
That season 1 is dope. I mean, if you really super love it, give season 2 a watch. Cool. But we're only endorsing here on Spitballing. We only endorse season 1.
And
Season 2, like
we're not on a
season 1,
book
season 2.
book recommendation here, but I definitely recommend the books, both for The Expanse and Altered Carbon as well. Okay, Game of Thrones, bam, it's an obvious one. Loved it. Rome, also, man, historical fucking perfect. It's great. Stranger Things, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I also put on here Godless. And I'm only 4 episodes in. And
Yes.
it might be oh my God. It is so fucking good. The first episode is a little hard to chew on. It's great, but it I don't know, it was a little bit slow, but now I am so hooked.
Well, that first episode opens up, and you're like, "What in the fuck?"
That's what it was. You just really didn't understand what the fuck's going on.
because you see
And
that
they actually
the carnage
do
and
a
shit.
great job of, I'm 4 episodes in and I still have no idea what's going on, but I'm so intrigued to find out.
Now, have you? I want to say it's episode 5, but I'm not 100% sure. It could have been episode 3.
Oh, hey, just wreck it for me.
Have you gotten to the point where he's doing his like going over the guy that's tracking him.
Yep, that's Going Blind.
Yeah, where he's like going over like how the like running gunfight went and stuff.
Nope, haven't seen it yet.
Oof. Favorite episode.
It's
Number
really
5.
good though. Godless.
I'm so happy that when you messaged me the other day, I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, it is. It is really. It's as good as it's as good as Kyle says it is.
If you like westerns, that'll be your shit.
I don't even
if you don't
I don't
like
even know if it
westerns.
matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know because I love westerns and the gun work in it is really great. And yeah, there's so much good stuff about it. Northern Exposure.
See Keith Jardine yet?
Keith Jardine, in what? In
Godless.
no, Keith Jardine, like the fighter.
Yeah,
Really? No.
he's like Jeff Daniels' like right hand man.
Oh, well then I guess I have seen it, but I guess I just didn't realize that was Keith Jardine. Weird.
It's awesome.
Northern Exposure. I got a hold of Jables and asked her if she knew where those were, and she said that she's rewatching them right now, but we'll get them to me afterward.
Awesome.
And then I went on, and then I thought, well, fuck it, maybe I'll just buy another one. They're $285 on Amazon.
Yes. Fuck that.
Right. I'm like, holy shit. I must have had more money back then. I
And
absolutely
see,
had more
why
money back
is
then.
like why doesn't anybody stream that shit?
I don't know. It's an interesting thing.
I always run into like these series and stuff where I'm like, was anybody streaming that right now?
And
Like,
I'm
I
not
think people
endorsing
watch it.
pirating, but you can't even get it fucking pirating. It's not out there.
But we do endorse pirating.
I
mean, we endorse the Iron Price.
I will be endorsing pirating in a little bit. That's you know what that's called?
Yo ho.
You know what
ho,
that's
and
called?
Foreshadowing.
Bitch. And then last one that Kyle and I absolutely agreed on was The Newsroom. Probably one of the greatest series of all times. Now, go ahead.
You know, I took a recommendation from you. Actually, Christine took the initiative, and she
I'm all wiggly.
picked up Apple TV.
Oh,
And then we discovered that my fucking big giant living room TV is the newest TV in the house, and that's from 2017. So I could not get Apple TV on it.
so I don't know how that
and-
works because I don't have a TV.
Well, we went and got a Roku so that we could use Apple TV. And yeah, so because she started watching the morning news.
Oh, okay. Is that good?
She says it's fucking amazing.
That's the
and
one
she
that.
thinks I'll really like it.
Yeah, that's
So
the
we're gonna
one.
watch that. I'm gonna check out the space one, the space race one.
For the Love of Man, or
But what I
Womankind.
did start already
Was
is
C?
C.
Good.
You know, good if you're a fucking idiot. That fucking show.
So you love it.
Yeah. New favorite show. It's so fucking stupid. Oh my god! It's like I had to fight. Like I'm gonna watch the whole season. I'm gonna watch this whole season. I'm gonna suffer through it because I'm suffering less as it goes. But I'm telling you, that first episode was so fucking stupid. I had to fight back the urge to shut it off like 12 times.
Really?
Oh, it's fucking horrible. It's so fucking bad.
I really like him. What's his name?
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. I mean, he was in Game of Thrones. He was
He's got shark's teeth.
yeah.
But yeah, he's been in some cool stuff. He's also been in a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah, I watched one
He's Aquaman.
series on. I didn't watch that. I watched
That's
one.
pretty good, really.
Really? I watched one series he was on. I enjoyed, but I lost track of it. It was called Frontier. Yeah, it was okay. You know, it wasn't horrible.
That show kind of lost me when he was fighting this guy, and they went into the water, and he came up holding the guy's spine, like his whole spine.
Yeah, I
like
didn't
he
get that
ripped it
far.
out of the guy.
Like
I know some
he
tough
did
guys.
he did it like Roadhouse style.
Right? You just rip that shit.
He
out.
just roadhoused him. Interesting.
Like I don't know if Brock Larson could rip a guy's spine out.
You know,
he might
let's-
be able to. If
let's
anybody
not-
that I know.
let's not
you
mention
know.
it. Let's not. ask.
Right. I'm not volunteering or anything. If you watch this, but you know, like especially, I don't know if he can do it underwater. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be tough.
That would be the tough part. Because we can all snatch
I'm
somebody's spine off.
certain
But if you
he
can do it
could
underwater.
break someone's spine.
Yeah, well, yes. And
So
handily, probably has.
I actually got a chance. Speaking of Brock, I got a chance to talk to him the other day, which I haven't since this all started. I hadn't talked to him, and we had been calling each other back and forth and missing each other's calls. And we don't leave messages, but like I always answer the phone when Brock calls. If I'm like, it's the only thing I'm like, oh my god, because more than likely I have to rescue him. But it's the same with me. Like if I call him, he'll answer the phone if he possibly can, because more than likely he has to rescue me. But we finally got to connect and we talked for a while. And he's doing good. He's holding up in the gym. He's still teaching classes over Zoom, I guess.
Cool.
And they're doing all right.
And you didn't figure that out for him? Who the hell set that up?
I
He didn't.
I was like, what the fuck?
He's stepping out on you.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole organization behind him now.
True,
They
true.
actually have smart people that run the whole Start BJJ. But yeah, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely go. I'm fucking not gonna do it. I mean, I want to.
It's like me working out from home, man.
Well, the thing is it's live, so you have to like be like at classes at 5:30 or whatever, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't have a schedule anymore. I'm all over the place, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some of the shows that I have found to be completely awesome that Kyle overlooked, and there are a couple.
Did I overlook
that
them,
were on-
or do I just not like them?
There were a couple on his list that I didn't put on my list that I also like agreed with, but I didn't think that they were, like Archer. I thought Archer was awesome, but it wasn't like, I don't know if it makes my top list. Okay, so Westworld. You didn't put Westworld on your list.
I don't love Westworld.
Wow,
So season 1 was okay. It was intriguing. Season 2, I think, was actually a little better than season 1. But so far, I've not been able to get into season 3 at all.
So, caveat: I haven't even started. I haven't watched at all season 3, but I fucking loved season 1 and 2, and I think it's such an awesome and intriguing concept, and I think like it's just so well done. Okay, it's okay that you don't.
It
that
is
you
well
don't agree.
done. There's a lot that I like about it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's man, for me, it's up there. I thought it was just awesome.
You know what part of it is for me, and a big part of it. I can't get into the characters. I don't think the characters are really strong enough for me. Like I'm not. I don't find them sympathetic enough. I'm not I'm not drawn to the characters.
I hear you, because sometimes to me that'll kill something for me. If I'm ever at a spot where I'm like, I don't care if all these fuckers die, then I'm just done, right? But I didn't feel like that on that one. I really enjoyed it. I think maybe you're just you're like a secret AIist. Like if it's not real human, maybe you don't value it as much.
Right? Like racist against AI.
Yeah.
That you know what? Actually, that can't be it. Because when we do my list of movies, Blade Runner's on there, and I really liked Rob Beatty.
Yeah. Blade Runner was pretty great.
Hells yeah.
So this is kind of like a group of shows next, but Star Trek. Specifically the Next Generation, as well as Picard, which I think was a fucking, as a single series. I'm not going to wreck it, but I thought it was a one and done. Because I don't want to, I can't wreck it, but holy shit, last episode was great. And then also Discovery.
Now I've got to get caught up.
Yeah, the last episode was really great. Also Discovery. Those are like the three that I just really, really liked.
But you didn't love Enterprise.
I actually didn't watch Enterprise. I
really like that one.
It's got like Scott Bakula, right? I don't like that guy, and I just never watched it. But even like Deep Space Nine, I watched all of that, and
see, I did not watch all of Deep Space
Nine.
I've only seen a couple
Space
episodes.
Nine. I didn't like the other. I didn't really get into the one with the female captain. I can't remember what that one was called.
That's not Deep Space Nine?
No. Well, fuck, I don't actually know. But Star Trek: The Next Generation and Picard, and then also I really did like Discovery as well. Like, I don't think you need to go back and watch all of the. Though I'm kind of thinking I might go back and watch right from the beginning.
Depends on how long all this shit lasts. But
Right.
But like the Next Generation, that did have some
You
characters.
should watch
that,
the movies. Yeah, man. The movies are great. Yeah, Data. Like just amazing.
First Contact is it might be the best Star Trek movie. No, it's not, but it's close. It's up there. And
What,
I really
what
like
would be
me
the
some
what would be the best one?
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock are great.
So I kinda-
also love the new ones.
Yeah, I didn't like them at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I hated them.
I loved the first one. The first one, like I think I told you about that before. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like 5
you're
minutes
like
in,
5
I'm
minutes
like,
in and bawling like a
why am I
baby.
crying in a fucking Star Wars movie?
Because
Or Star Trek movie?
it was Pike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going down with his ship, to save his family. Oh, can barely talk about it without getting fucking misty. But then the second one was great too, with Benedict Cumberbatch, whatever the fuck his name is, Sherlock Holmes from the BBC one.
Yeah.
So he played Khan, and and that was really good too. But then the third one really shit the bed. It was fucking stupid.
Wait. Yeah, I don't even think I saw the third one.
Oh yeah, save yourself. Oh yeah, fuck, that was terrible.
I don't like I don't like reboots. Like it really bugs the shit out of me.
See this, I thought that it was going to piss me off because I don't like reboots either. But silly me, it turned out pretty fucking good. And they brought in it was like a parallel universe. They brought in a Leonard Nimoy Spock, into the show, because it was like an alternate reality and blah, 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 met up with Captain Kirk and all those guys.
And I mean, I know that exists, and in Discovery, there's an alternate universe
Yes.
kind of aspect.
But they
to
kind
it.
of set it up from the beginning.
Yeah.
That was cool.
One thing I really, really liked about Discovery. Did you watch that series?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah.
On your recommendation, I checked it out, and it was good.
Yeah. But there's a couple of things about it that I really liked. And we're going to get a little geeky here, but one thing is the spore drive. So in Star Trek Discovery, they have this thing called a spore drive, which they don't really understand.
Did you say
how it-
s'mores?
Yeah. Come on, fatty. Hold it in. They don't really understand how it works, but it really tied in well with my whole DMT experience and concept of everything being connected.
It kind of reminded me of the Spice and the Navigators and shit like that from
Yeah, see, I
Dune.
never yeah. So I just I don't have that reference because I've never made it through either the movie or the books.
Really?
No, you know that. I've tried reading Dune 4 times.
Oh,
and
everybody's
I can't
tried
get through
reading
it.
Dune. Fuck.
And then
Ugh.
the movie.
No, thank you.
I hated the movie, the one with I don't know, the guy from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And I tried
McClanahan,
watching
Kyle
the
McClanahan or
mini
something.
series and was like, fuck this. I just don't
Talking
care. But I kind of get the concept because they're anti-AI, right? That's you know what? Fuck, we don't need to get into Dune. But anyway, I loved the spore drive. But then another thing that I really liked is the engineer guy who runs the spore drive. He has this. He has a gay partner who is like the doctor, and it was really well done. Their relationship was really well done. You got emotionally involved in their relationship, and it was also
without forcing it.
Without forcing it.
Hey, look at our gay stuff.
right,
You know,
oh, we have a gay whatever. It was just kind of offhanded, and it was also it
it
wasn't.
was organic.
It was there's a good word for it, but it was also important. Their relationship is a key plot point, and I thought it was an interesting choice to not just have a gay engineer. It was interesting to have a gay engineer and a gay doctor, and have them be kind of the focal point of it, and you never felt like you were getting gayed on. They just did a really good job.
Gayed
with it.
upon?
Gayed upon. There you go. So, I loved them, and there are probably 10 episodes of Star Trek Next Generation that are so fucking good that like your life is missing something if you don't have them. There are some that aren't. Like it was a long series, like they're throwaway episodes, but some
For
of
sure.
those episodes are so incredibly good. There are 4 lights. Do you remember that one? That one? There's a part where Picard is basically in a prison camp, and I can't remember the name of the creatures that have him. And there's 3 lights shining in his eyes, and they're trying to convince him to say, or no, there are 4 lights shining on him, and they want him to say there are 3 lights, right? And they're torturing him. And at the end of the episode, he gets rescued, and he's screaming in their face, and he says, "There are 4 lights."
Fucking Patrick Stewart, man.
Such a great actor.
When I'm thinking about like the character, like what I said about the strong characters and stuff, Picard, like whatever. Like, I hope I don't offend anyone here. Actually, don't give a fuck. But like, Captain Kirk, great, cool, whatever. Fuck Captain Kirk. Jean-Luc Picard is like Jean-Luc Picard is my captain.
Right.
Like,
Right. Yep.
He was fucking great, and he is so good in everything. But when I mentioned First Contact, that whole thing about him, and his fucking deep-seated hatred for the Borg and stuff.
Right. Yep.
And there's that scene in there where they're on the holodeck in that like 20s like gangster
yep.
like bar and stuff, and they shut off like the safety protocols so that like things in the holodeck can actually damage you.
Yep.
And the Borg walk into this bar and they're looking at all these guys, and it's like this total 20s setting, except for the Borg walking around like looking at everybody. And Captain Picard snatches up that fucking Thompson submachine gun with that big round drum clip on it, and he's fucking just mowing them down. And and they show him, and he's like
And
got
his
that crazy
face
look
is-
on his
yep.
face, and he's got the fucking little like I've like
You've
I've been around some
masturbated
super
to that
angry-
scene.
I
Yeah.
have. But there's like when somebody's like angry enough that their like lip is quivering and shit, and they're getting that like involuntary like snarl response
Right.
and stuff. That's pretty fucking mad, and it's good acting when it looks
Such
that
good
cool.
acting. Well, yeah. So in that episode, he's screaming at these guys. There are 4 lights, but he looks up and he only sees 3 lights. Right? Because there were 4 lights, and they wanted him to say 3, but he only saw 3, and he's so scarred, from that. It's so fucking good, guys. You got to do it. Okay. The Clone Wars and Rebels. I'm just putting them both together
Sure.
because it's done by Disney. They do have different. So this is an animated series that was fuck. I don't even know who originally did it. Cartoon Network, but it ended up going onto Netflix, and then now is owned by Disney and is being finished by Disney right now. I hated episode 1, 2, and 3. Like, I don't think there were almost any redeeming qualities to it. But the Clone Wars, which takes place between episode 2 and episode 3, have let me love those characters again. Does that make sense? You get to see Anakin, who, in the fucking movies, he was a douche.
Yeah, before he's such a weepy bitch.
But you get to see
Ugh.
him be one of the greatest Jedi ever. I know I mentioned this scene before, but I'm just going to talk about it one more time. So the problem I always had with the first 3 episodes, are that Anakin's a little boy. Okay, fine. Okay, Anakin's a snotty-nosed teenager. Fine. Anakin's a fucking demon of death. Okay, there's zero arc there, right? In the Clone Wars, you get to kind of understand Anakin's fall to the dark side, and it's every time he goes dark, he does it for the right reason, and that's the point. And I've always had this. I've always had an issue with this whole dark side, light side idea, right? And in episode 1, when Yoda and Mace Windu are talking about having Obi-Wan Kenobi. They're like that, you know, he's no longer Padawan. He's gonna be a master now, because only a master could kill a Sith, right? Was the idea. But the thing is if when you watch that scene, which is actually a fucking, maybe the one that that scene, that fight scene with those three is pretty fucking awesome. After Qui-Gon Jinn gets killed, Obi-Wan Kenobi fucking loses it. You know, he's hanging off the edge, and he fucking flies up and fucking and ends up killing. You know, like that wasn't he wasn't feeling all fucking love and rosy right there. That's dark side. That's a dark side, baby. Well, Anakin dips into the dark side very, very much in this series, and there's one particular early episode that I just love, and it's when Anakin's Padawan, named Ahsoka Tano. You don't even know about her if you have never seen this. You're like, who the fuck are you talking about? But probably one of the greatest.
If you watch The Mandalorian, you're going to find out about her. So maybe
ever.
You should do some homework.
You got to watch this. And there's like, this is the 7th season, and they're only half-hour episodes. But I mean, it's a lot to watch, and you got time. Early on, Anakin's Padawan and this other Jedi and her Padawan end up getting trapped under this mountain, and it's like they're gonna die, right? And the other Jedi says to Anakin, you know, I'm so sorry for your loss. And you can just see Anakin's face, and it just like, you know, like the eyes fucking zoom in, and he said, "What loss?" And he picks up this fucking mountain, and like saves his Padawan. But it's not bright and fuzzy. I mean, it's all dark. And then afterward, Ahsoka is talking to the other Jedi, and the other Jedi says, "Your master is very interesting. I don't know if he will do well in peace." And she goes, and he's not really a peace guy. I just loved it. It's a great episode. All right.
What would you do for your Padawan?
Pick up a fucking mountain. And then not to undersell Rebels, which takes place after it butts up to A New Hope, or it actually butts up to Rogue One. So it's the one right before that.
Did I tell you that I finally got around to watching The Last Skywalker?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Men on Film from In Living Color?
I loved In Living Color.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I've you know what? Except for Rogue One, fuck all the Star Wars movies made since the 80s, because they can't do that shit right. They're fucking terrible.
Which blows my mind, because the peripherals are so good.
So good.
So
look at Rogue One. Rogue One is peripheral.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, peripheral.
Right.
You know, fucking. I don't want to call the Clone Wars peripheral, because it's such a part of the story, like a fucking important part of the story.
But it is a peripheral.
It is.
It's fucking
kind of,
animated. You know? Yeah. I didn't hate it, but I hated the other one so much.
You know what I hated the most?
What?
If you strike me down, if you kill me, so basically, he just tells her, if he kills her, that's her surrendering to the dark side, and she's going to become him or whatever. And I'm like, really? If she kills your old, evil, already dead once, fucking awful ass, that's hate. That represents hate.
Yeah.
Not her being a good guy and fucking saving people's lives, all this shit. It's just about hate. It's how fucking all about it's all about me. Well, no, it's not really about you. I'm just a good guy. No, it's all about me. But what if I kill you because you're the bad guy and you're gonna kill? No, it means you hate. It means you're the bad guy now. It was so fucking stupid. I kind of enjoyed part of it up until they got to Clorox or whatever the fucking
Clorox. That's definitely the name of the planet.
The Sith homeworld or whatever. And then it got
Rock.
so fucking stupid,
Kind of smelled bleachy.
right? God, you think the place would be cleaner. But it was fucking, it's just fucking stupid. It was fucking stupid. The goddamn, like, Palpatine, like, oh, nice, you know, like, I don't mind, like, I don't mind a surprise ending. I like surprises in movies and shit like that.
There was a surprise ending.
Well, I mean, I guess it wasn't the ending, but like that it was Palpatine or whatever. I don't like to feel like it was like. You can't fucking tell me that that's always how he how he saw it ending. I think
so
he was
the
like, I need to
problem-
fucking wrap this up. Oh well, here's how this goes then. Fine.
The
fuck it,
problem
you
with
know?
all of those movies is that they were like directed by 3 different directors, and they all went in completely different directions with them. Anyway, I didn't hate it, but I was just glad it was over. Like, you know, yeah. Enough about that fucking show.
Yeah, that fucking show
Okay.
sucked dick.
So now we're moving into that was kind of my sci-fi list, and now I'm kind of going into like fantasy history kind of stuff. So
I'm
one
intrigued.
of them on here that is a show that I get a little shit for loving so much, but I fucking loved it. It's Spartacus. And Spartacus was a series on Stars that is about Spartacus, the slave, the Thracian slave.
Or is it about oiled up naked guys?
So I get a little shit about this show. It is one of those. It is just a sex fest. It's just all sexy sexness with like lots of gratuitous violence. But the thing is,
I wish there was a crossover between that and True Blood.
yeah, that would be a great one. That'd be a great mashup. It's on my list. But Spartacus, all of that aside, it's very historically accurate.
They did a good job with the gladiator schools and stuff like that.
Super good.
And
most
really interesting
realistic
shit, man.
Most realistic portrayal of the story of Spartacus.
I like that show. I watched the shit out of that show. I mean, it wouldn't make any of my top lists, but damn, I mean, and they did the thing that's hard to do because they had to replace the main character. They had to replace
Yeah.
Spartacus after the first season.
Yeah, it
He
was very
died.
sad. I don't remember
So sad you
exactly
don't
what
remember.
happened, but I don't remember. Well, it was very sad though. He got sick. It was like a weird.
Yeah, he had some was it
weird
like some kind
blood
of cancer
disease or
something?
cancer or something. And the main character, the lead actor, ended up dying after the
Abruptly.
first season. Yeah,
Yeah.
really fast. And they were like, "Oh,
And I like
we
that
got
guy,
two more
too. He was
fucking.
in other
We
stuff,
got
too.
two more
I-
fucking seasons.
Yeah.
This is horrible." And they recast it, and they found a fucking guy who was just.
I like
great.
the original guy better.
I did too. He was a
But-
little more. He was a little more sculpted. You know, he was like ripped, and he was, you know, but really,
I wasn't thinking it in terms of his oily
That-
jackness, but
this was a
He had just a
closeted
tougher
gay
look
man's
and more-
fucking wet dream. It was so good.
you think I would have liked it better then?
Yeah, I loved it. Also, they really did a great job with the actual history, and that is something that very few television shows
Oh.
ever do.
Like most people, most shows don't give a fuck, TV or
So,
movies.
other than the fact that like blood goes splattering everywhere, and hey, we're not on my movies yet, but Braveheart's definitely making it. So, like, other than the fact that blood goes splattering everywhere, and you know, it's almost like 300 style
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah,
But other than that,
which was glorious.
everything else is great. The armor's great. The weapons are great. The fucking story is not. There's no way for it to be accurate because we don't have any idea who Spartacus actually
Yeah.
was. They called him the Thracian, but they probably called him that because he used he used 2 swords in the arena, and that's a Thracian style. He probably wasn't actually from Thrace, but they developed this whole backstory that even if it wasn't the truth, it was a historically realistic backstory.
Yeah, that think of like gladiators like professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't like
it was kind of like that.
like.
But gladiators were a lot like.
Is this guy
professional
really a
wrestling.
Russian? No, you know, like
But yeah, that was definitely like that. That was
they
the
would,
professional
they give you a
wrestling.
character, they
Oh,
pump
for
up
sure.
that character and stuff like that. And I mean, if they would have had, I mean, shit, like
And another
they would have had
parallel-
trading cards if that was the thing. Back
Another
then.
parallel to professional wrestling is they were slaves, which very much is pretty true of a lot of professional wrestlers. So anyway, I love Spartacus. I don't even want to call it a guilty pleasure, but I don't feel any guilt
I might
whatsoever.
rewatch that. I really did
fucking
enjoy
love
that.
I've seen it.
I should rewatch Black Sails too.
Speaking of my next pick,
Shit.
Black Sails. So I said I'm not in favor of pirates, but I am. Black Sails is another Starz original, and I realized how many awesome Starz originals there are. But Black Sails is a pirate show. It's a fucking pirate
It's
show.
the pirate show.
It is the only one. There isn't anything else.
Well, not only is it the only one, it's an amalgamation of every historic and fictional pirate that you ever
Shove
fucking
'em
heard
all
of.
in one.
They're in there, baby.
Yep.
You know, like, oh, you know, do I want, like this
Man,
guy?
I could
that
use
guy,
me some
fucking-
Blackbeard. Well, fuck, there he is,
Hey,
and he's
right?
awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
they also do. I mean, how nice a job do they do? Like, the build up to fucking meeting Blackbeard is like, oh my god, like Blackbeard, like he's a fucking god to these people. I mean, or like the devil. And then
That's
when you
great.
finally do meet Blackbeard, man, who is it? Fucking Titus Pulo, Ray Stevens or Stevenson or whatever his name
it
is.
was Titus.
Yeah.
Pulo. I actually.
And he does a fucking great
It-
job. He's bad as fuck. God, what a badass.
There's so many great characters in there, but then there's also this really weird underlying like love triangle story too, that is very unorthodox. Like it being in the pitch meeting for that, be like, what? But you know what? It was fucking amazing. They did just such a great job. But one of the things I always love about shows, or I love about stories, is when you start with a character that you're like, you know, like who has a lot of flaws, and by the end you think he's fucking amazing.
Nothing like a little redemption arc, you know. And these characters in my, there's a lot of characters in that show, just like Game of Thrones, and characters with texture.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, did you like that guy last week and you don't like him this week? Like, they do shit, you know, like that's in their self-interest that maybe doesn't, you know, like follow super linear, you know, like I didn't. And then when you're trying to figure out if you do like a character or not, the super cute little hooker.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Man, there were a lot of super cute little hookers in there, though. But so
Much like
we were
my-
talking about like the
we're
one
not talking about my
the
autobiography.
one that ends up having the relationship with the main. I don't know.
She's the super cutest one.
She's nice.
The
one with like
yeah.
the Cajun or the
yes.
awesome accent.
The one, and she winds up in a relationship with the female pirate,
Right, yep.
who's actually based on
Awesome,
another real
really
character.
great. Yeah. My favorite character. Well, I don't know what my favorite character, but Jack, the guy, the main. He's like kind of not the main character necessarily. There isn't really a main character, but the one that like starts out as kind of like the coward. And then ends up
Yes.
losing his leg.
Yeah.
Remember that scene when he stomps that guy's fucking head in?
Dude, and he's not a violent. He's like a.
He
like
was
kind of a
always like the
or
pacifist, but he just fucking
not necessarily
he ends up
pacifist, more of a coward.
A coward. Yeah, let's call it what it
Yeah,
is.
that's right. There's pacifists and there's cowards. And sometimes you see them; they get confused for each other. But
Yeah, he's kind of a coward, but he ends up fucking coming into his own, and it's
yeah.
honestly,
his arc is probably the most interesting as
Yeah.
far as the characters on that show.
I think they're all so good.
It's a fucking good show, man.
Also, the other pirate that
That you can see on Amazon for free.
ends up getting.
you know,
Yeah, I
like-
think that's on Amazon for free. The one that I don't want to wreck anything, but he ends up. Oh fuck it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
He just did the
don't
sign
make
for
it.
autoerotic asphyxiation. He jerks off
Anyway,
with Ultron
Black
attack, no big
Sails.
deal.
I know we talked about it before, but seriously, guys, it is so fucking awesome.
Did we? I think this is the first time we've discussed.
No, we
that
mentioned
show.
it just a little bit. I don't know, the other day, but we did. It did just come up, and that's why I was like, man, he has some gaping holes.
But yeah, Treasure Island meets like reality. It's fucking
And plus the sailing is great. Now,
and what's cooler than a naval battle?
Not historically accurate, by the way.
Not even fucking close.
Nope. Yeah, most people don't realize, but like the pirate era, was a very short period of time. But who cares? Who cares if it was historically accurate?
Right.
It looked incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, like that shit is just cool. I love those. I love naval battles. Like when they open up on each other with the cannons and shit. Like
Me too.
You get to see how fucking brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Like when, but I mean, really think about it. You're in the middle of the ocean. You've already like just fucking like gave each other everything you had, alongside each other, like next to each other with cannons.
Yeah.
Which was fucking brutal enough. But then, okay, we're done shooting at each other. Now we're going to fucking fight face to face.
Yep.
With fucking sabers and clubs and fucking whatever the fuck else. My teeth, like that shit, like that's some, and really like you're out in the middle of the ocean. Like
Right.
if your shit sinks, like, I mean, it's all out there, like you're fucking, you might as well be like beating the shit out of each other with clubs naked or something. Like it's just very primal at a certain level. Those fights are awesome.
The other character I really liked. I think I'm gonna rewatch Black Sails.
I think I have too.
Which I have watched it a couple times, but yeah, it's a great one.
I've only watched it once.
The slave who is like the chick who kind of runs the island, her like personal servant slave. And then but he's actually like this resistance leader.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Well,
so many great things.
He's like the most refined and dignified and moral character on the show.
And yet you like find out he's been like smuggling like weapons to these resistance fighters, and it's fucking amazing. It's a great show. Okay. The next one, I don't even know if you've ever seen this one, but I loved it. And again, I believe this is a Starz original. I don't know for sure. Da Vinci's Demons.
I think I got like 15 minutes into that.
You're fucking kidding me. You got to give it another shake.
I just paused on it for a second the other day when I was, doing what I do, probably in between fucking greasy snacks and chocolatey snacks.
I think this is probably one of the most underrated shows out there. I don't know anybody who's ever watched it other than me. And I fucking loved it. It's about Leonardo da Vinci. And again, it's kind of historically accurate. Like, they get a lot of Leonardo da Vinci right. But then they add in a whole bunch of crazy shit that's not real. Like, that's the whole point. Like, there's magic and fucking crazy shit. But they really got him as a character, I believe. I mean, not like I know Leonardo, but they got him right. And my favorite part of the show is that he has this. He's almost like he kind of reminds me of Brad Pitt's character in 12 Monkeys, where he's all hands and weird, like almost like he's probably on the spectrum in some way. But when he has a problem and he starts to think about it, and then all of a sudden, he sees and they show the way his mind is working, and he's building shit in his fucking head, and then the next thing you know, he's like, fucking developing weapons and so on and so forth. It's so incredibly, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. Also, they in like, I don't know what it is, season 2, season 3, they end up in America. Like, I'm not wrecking anything because it's fucking all over the place, but they do a really, really good job of showing like the Aztec culture in its like,
no fucking way.
Fucking great.
I do need to watch this.
And people don't realize how incredibly bad the Aztecs were.
Oh,
I mean,
like as far as like the savagery, what we recognize as savagery now.
It's pretty tough to not think of it as savagery.
It's like Wall Street.
It's so bad. It's
just evil.
They had human sacrifice, which a lot of cultures had human sacrifice, but they would do it on a mass scale.
If it were up to me, we would have human sacrifice.
Plus, they would cannibalize.
Like, Kyle, we know you want the Vikings to win, but you can't just kill that person and expect that to happen.
Then they would cannibalize the dead, and then they would feed the dead. They would eat like select cuts off of the dead, but then they would feed the dead to the stock for the next sacrifice.
Sacrifices
Dude,
and shit. And
they
when
had
we say
pens.
human sacrifices, we're not talking about, hey, look, they killed a guy on that day.
No,
They
there-
might kill fucking 500 guys. Yeah, I mean,
there's one incident where they did 3,500 in one day. Took 18 hours.
to put that in perspective, I grew up in a town of 800 people.
And there would be a line of people miles long on the pyramid, walking up the pyramid. That's fucking crazy.
And see, isn't it weird, like
And
how
they
you
cut
can
they cut everybody's heart out and stuck it in a brazier. I mean, like pretty bad. But they do a great job in that show of kind of like showing that Aztec.
Isn't
That was pretty crazy.
Isn't it strange how you can cow people like that? You know, like
They would drug
if
them.
you had like if you had, yeah, but I don't know, like I've drugged me, but like if you got like 1,500 people standing in line, and like you're, maybe you're like 1,132 in line, and you're like, huh, man, I hope they get tired of cutting people's fucking hearts out before I get up there.
The crazy
and
part
they don't
is-
like just fucking do the right thing and die on your feet, you piece of shit.
And the crazy part
but
is
I've never been in that
that
situation, so maybe
is that like in a lot of like sacrifice situations, like the participants are willing. We're gonna talk about it in another.
But these were
episode.
mostly from
They were not willing.
Yeah,
they were.
these were
they
prisoners.
were
POWs.
They were literally prisoners or bred as bred to die. It's a fucking crazy culture. I have some book. We're not on book recommendations, but if you are interested in that, I have a fucking great series to talk about.
Do you love Apocalypto?
No, you know what? I actually never seen it,
No.
so I couldn't.
People are tough on that movie. I fucking love.
It's
that
subtitled.
movie.
I can't watch any.
You didn't
subtitled.
even need to read the subtitles. You
Well,
know
that's
what's
why
going
I've
on,
never
just by
watched
watching
it. Is because it was subtitled, and I'm like, I can't fucking read fast enough. The only way I could read that or I could watch that movie is if somebody would be willing to sit next to me and read me the subtitles.
There's minimal dialogue,
Well,
but otherwise, I like
right.
that movie enough that I will totally like sit there and read to you.
okay,
Maybe I'll
we're
braid
gonna
your
do
hair.
that live.
I'll braid your hair.
We'll
too.
stream it.
Whatever.
I'm gonna get some hair. Interesting. I've not seen it, but I'm interested in it.
It's great. I mean, it's really great.
And
I mean,
also,
it's-
that was right kind of when Mel Gibson started
Like crazy.
coming out of the bigot closet. And I guess
I mean, that wasn't-
I didn't
yeah,
go
bigot.
see. I didn't go
As far as you know.
see it because I didn't want to support Mel Gibson at the time. Now I guess I can watch it without.
See,
without it.
I've like here's my thing with Mel Gibson. Like we talked about, like we mentioned Braveheart and stuff a couple of times now. So the thing that I don't like about, I don't give a fuck who Mel Gibson likes and doesn't like. And I love The Road Warrior. And I've enjoyed the shit out of some Mel Gibson movies over the years. When we were kids, Lethal Weapon was awesome. I mean, was it stupid? Yeah, it was stupid. But it was a buddy
It was
comedy.
pretty great, yeah.
It was like a buddy action movie.
Yeah.
Great, awesome. But you look at him, you look at Braveheart. Watching Mel Gibson overact is just like fucking brutal. I mean, I just don't think he's a good actor.
Yeah,
But,
I have a soft spot for Braveheart. I also thought he was really good in Hamlet. I thought that was a great version of Hamlet.
Because it was theatrical and stuff, like
I mean, Hamlet.
I felt like it kind of lends
Shakespeare,
itself to
you have
overact.
to kind of overact.
Yeah.
Right, because because it's so crazy. If you don't overact it, you don't get it.
Yeah. Well, and like and if you've ever been to a fucking play, well, that's the difference. That's like the big difference between acting in a fucking play and acting in a movie or whatever. Like overacting is, how you get shit across in a play. It's to be done. But I don't like Mel Gibson. What? How do we know? Oh yeah, Apocalypto. But
He's not in it.
right. It would be a lot funnier if he was though.
I can't believe he wasn't in it.
And starring. But it's really, really fucking cool. It's really cool. There's a lot of cool shit in there, man. Is it 100% accurate? No, but it's like 80% accurate, which is good enough for me. And it's pretty badass.
I don't actually even know what it's about. I mean, is it about Mesoamerica?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, then I'm super interested. I'll watch it.
Yeah, like the Mayans like raid this guy's village, and
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch it.
yeah, it's yeah, check it out, man. And the subtitles, because the dialogue is
So sparse that
yeah,
yeah.
you barely even fucking notice.
Yeah, I mentioned, and I don't remember the name of the movie, but it's about it's Windwalker, and that was done
yeah.
all in. That was all subtitled and done all in but there was no fucking dialogue. I mean, there's like 10 lines of dialogue in the
Yeah,
whole fucking movie.
and when
It's-
there was because mostly it was like most of the dialogue was him talking to himself.
Yeah, it's very little. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know why this one's in this department, but I just put it on here. I was just making a list. True Blood. We talked about it before.
Never heard of it.
So talk about if you like lubed up men, sculpted men's bodies, this is the show for you.
You've got Eric Northman, who is the sexy vampire
Who
man.
I am pretty sure Meta is like legitimately in love with now. Like she,
It's the abs.
I don't know what the hell's
fuck
going
that.
on with that.
No, he's a handsome guy too.
Well, duh.
But and they actually there's scenes of him like superhuman speed, like just
Screwing,
banging
yeah.
the shit out of girl in a sex swing.
there is. The premise of the show is that vampires are coming out of the closet, out of the coffin.
Yeah, they're a real thing, and now they're like mainstream.
They're start trying to mainstream, and that's what the whole thing's about. And it's all over the place. But I didn't know if I wanted to put it on here.
It's
but then I was
fun.
like, God, I really enjoy this fucking show.
It's
I'm watching
fun.
it again. I'm like on season 5 now, and I'm like, I'm a junkie for it. It's great.
Did you see I put that thing on that what's his name? Joe Magliano or whatever. El Cid.
Oh yeah.
Who like this guy's he's married to Eva, or no, not Eva Longoria. Anyway, he's married to some like ridiculous Latina bombshell. They're like the prettiest couple ever. He's like 6'5" and shit. Like he's like tall, muscular, handsome, beautiful man.
He would have made a great Wolverine. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'd rather see Danny DeVito as well. But I posted those pictures on the Facebook. I think I meant to anyway about his nerd cave. Did you see that?
Oh, you did, yeah.
Man,
I didn't know
So he
who you
plays
were
Dungeons
talking
and Dragons
about.
and always has. And the hot chick from True Blood, the kind of the ginger.
There is a hot. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
she is
she's
hot.
the
I
one-
was like, there is a hot chick. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
she's
yeah.
like an 8.
Yeah.
But like she's definitely the hottest
She's
chick on that
pretty
show. But she's also a nerd in his gaming group. They showed his
Really?
gaming group. Yeah. And like so he's a big nerd. She's a big nerd. They play Dungeons and Dragons. He's of course like rich and famous, so he has the dopest gaming fucking like table and setup and like
he's not rich and famous from being on True Blood.
He's rich and famous from like he's been in some shitty movies and stuff too. Like he's been in some other stuff, and his wife is also a famous actor. But they're I don't know if he's I guess he's not quite an A-lister, but people know who he is just because he's so goddamn pretty and stuff. And like when you're that good looking, he can probably say, "Hey, I need this," and people just give him things.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. That
But,
does happen. I mean, it happens to me all the time.
But that show is a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Like and
It's fucking
so
ridiculous.
Sookie,
Yeah.
she's not the cutest girl in the world.
No. She's got like this gap between her teeth and she's whatever. But
Yeah.
man, I'm telling you, between season 1 and season 2, because I don't know how this worked. Like I have no idea. But like they did season 1 and then they come back season 2 and everybody got better looking. Like they definitely, when they got picked up for a second season, there were some personal trainers involved because
personal
everybody's
trainers.
like,
They hired some makeup people.
yeah.
And
I mean, there's like fucking
like her, I appreciate that because like she's it's that whole girl next door thing. Does she look like Eva Longoria or something? No. Does she look like somebody that you actually might have slept with? Well, yeah. And I appreciate she's also got a little thickness to her. She's like big.
well,
hips
she did
and
in
ass
season
and
1.
stuff.
She kind of like in season 2. She as it goes on, she's going to be fitter and fitter and fitter. So our buddy Brian Tuma,
Hells yeah. Why? We really need to get
I
Brian
know
on the
we
show.
do. We do. He
One of the funniest, most awesome, fucking like,
super awesome human.
fun, just funnest goddamn people that I've ever met in my life.
He used to have this dog. I think his name was King. It was King, right? And I don't know.
I forgot Brian
know
was a
I
big
have-
True Blood fan.
I know everybody or I probably said this before, but I'm fucking terrified of dogs. Like I got chewed up a long time ago, so I have this I have a really hard time like meeting a dog for the first time or whatever. And this was a ginormous Doberman Pinscher. And I went over to his house one night. We ended up going out, and I stayed at his house. And I woke up in the morning like terrified that King was going to come downstairs and not know who I was and chew me up. And I slinked out of his house it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I gotta go. I'm being really quiet. I was like terrified. And then unfortunately King passed away shortly thereafter. I swear to God I didn't poison him. But he was out. He's old and whatever. And Brian got a new Doberman, and he was telling me about he was gonna get it, and he was like, yeah, and then I gotta get her ears clipped, and I was like, no, please don't get her ears clipped. And he's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, of course, she's a Doberman, you gotta clip ears. And I said, I begged him. I said, Brian, okay, I'm not gonna try to convince you one way or other, but will you just please do some research on it and before you make a decision? And he did, and he came back to me and he goes, oh my God, dude, I had no fucking idea. Clipping a dog's ears is bad. Shame on you. And it's okay if you didn't know better, but fucking look it up, man. It is a horrible thing to do to a dog. So he didn't clip her ears, but he did name her Sookie. Just so when he comes home, he can say, Sookie! And she's the most wonderful dog. Like I said, I have a real hard time with dogs, and and Dobermans are on that list. And I hadn't seen her in years and
Dobermans
years
can
and
bite
years.
the fuck out of you.
Yeah, they can.
Like,
they
bite hard.
But I hadn't seen her in several years, and they came out to the farm on St. Matthias one time to come to a show, and Sookie was with them, and I was like, oh my God, is that Sookie? And he was like, yeah, and she jumped, cuddled me, and was just fucking fantastic. And we have like this connection because I saved her fucking ears, and she knows it. So
Probably does.
Good for you, Brian. I really, really, actually, honestly,
There's no way Brian watches this.
I'm not talking to him exactly, but I super respect people who can have a belief, go out and do some research, and realize they were wrong, and then change their behavior because of that. That's fucking hard to do. And I kudos to Brian for being able to figure that out.
Oh, absolutely. That's it's something that like it sounds kind of like
Like a
anybody should be able to do
no-brainer,
that,
but it's
absolutely.
hard, man.
It is fucking hard.
I have a hard time with it.
Yeah, from personal experience. Sometimes I don't want to do a fucking 180,
Yeah.
but then I'm like,
Do you want to hear my?
but I'm wrong.
You want to hear my?
So I have to.
You want to
do
hear
that.
my like?
And then I also like to let people know when I do it because I'm like, you know what, I was wrong. Like.
You want to hear my secret admission? For a while, I was a climate
Republican?
I was a climate
Oh.
change denier.
Oh.
But it was earlier in the whole thing, and I read a book by Michael Crichton, which I don't think you should read, called "The Enemy of Fear," and it was essentially about the global warming conspiracy. And it was a
Fuck
really,
out of here.
I know.
See,
and I
'cause
love
read
Michael Crichton.
I've read a couple of Michael Crichton books, a few now,
Yeah.
and
It
I
was-
have not read that one.
And it was really well written, and it sucked me in. And anyway, and I did think it was a conspiracy for a while, that they were trying to like control us with this fear of whatever. I changed. It took me a while.
That's what
but I changed. But
that's what the coronavirus
dude,
is for.
well, you know what? What I think,
Just kidding.
which is crazy.
If you think that, you're an idiot.
What I think is fucking crazy is how incredibly apparent the coronavirus shows how much effect humans have on the environment. Because you can fucking breathe LA air right now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's so apparent how much damage we're doing to the environment, because right now everybody's all locked down, and fucking guess what?
You know
the world's
what?
like
I never
going
thought
like,
about that, but that's a really fucking solid
I'm getting
point.
better.
Oh, I did read something about being able to breathe. Like when China did theirs, all of a sudden, like their air was breathable,
Right. Yeah. Right.
and I'm like, holy shit, is that a real thing? And I'm like, yeah, apparently it
yeah,
is.
and,
Fucking-
and like
I didn't
like
look.
like waterways are making comebacks and shit like that. I mean, it's amazing how much fucking damage we're doing to our
Right.
planet on a
Hey.
daily basis.
Well, and like impressive how like just like staying home and not being an asshole for a few weeks can fucking like
Right.
maybe, you know, maybe it's step in the right direction. You know, like maybe we don't have to do like all the behaviors that are so destructive. Maybe those are things that are absolutely mandatory, like 100%.
Right.
You know.
I mean, I don't know. That's weird to see how that will make a change. But it's just absolutely apparent that humans have a humongous impact on the environment because
do the air quality. thing's a
shit's getting
motherfucker.
better in a really short period of time. The other thing that it makes me hopeful is that if Mother Nature ever does get the gumption to wipe us out, that the planet's going to recover.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that? There was a short series. I think it was like 6 episodes or something like that. Did I just pull it out of my ass? Anyway, I don't know how many episodes it was, but I know it was multiple episodes. It was a series about life after people. Like all the people just disappear.
Die for whatever reason. Yeah.
And then like here's how long it takes to do this. Here's how long it takes to do this. And they like use all these models to figure out like like how bad, like how quickly the ecosystem, these different ecosystems snap back. And they show cities and stuff, like what happens to cities, how fast like cities turn into like jungles and shit like that. And just
Dude,
it's fucking
Chernobyl.
amazing.
Like Chernobyl
Man, right?
is a fucking like
Yeah, nature reclaimed that shit.
paradise. Yeah. And
Crazy.
yet it's so fucking radioactive that like we can't like live there. But the fucking animals are doing great.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Ah!
I actually watched an episode of what was it? There was a show where they
I was
catch
gonna
fish.
say you probably
River
had
monsters?
too much to drink.
Yeah, I did. River Monsters. You ever watch that show?
No.
Peyton loved it when he was a kid, but
Did
it's
they do
about
the
this guy.
noodling or whatever? What do they
Well,
call it when
he'd
they
do whatever,
like,
but it was
stick
this
down the-
guy who would go out and he would fish for the craziest like things he could find in rivers.
like coelacanth?
Basically, I think he did fucking go for coelacanth. But he
For those of you
he
keeping
went to,
score at home,
Chernobyl.
A coelacanth is a fish that they thought was extinct forever and ever.
Forever.
And all of a sudden, hey, guess what? Here's a fucking coelacanth.
Yeah.
But-
Well, the truth is, we don't know shit about like anything out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Especially if you're us. Should
I
we take a
spilled the
break?
rest of my beer, so we gotta take a break. We'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Spitballing. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy.
Kyle Amundsen.
Little fucker was looking ahead.
Well, I can read some stuff, like, and then, like, oh.
So next on my list,
It's Marco Polo.
Marco Polo.
Got you.
Marco Polo. So this is maybe my Firefly.
No.
I was so disappointed when they canceled it,
Well, I was too. I mean, how are you getting me 2 seasons and then fucking like?
and it's so good,
I got Marco Polo Blue Balls. That was a really good fucking like. That was a pretty decent show, man.
really good. So it is about, well, oddly enough, Marco Polo, and
Again, not exactly what I would call historically
not
accurate,
even fucking close.
but
Yeah, no, it is not historically accurate at all.
interesting.
Interesting, but it's also about Kublai Khan.
Well, and here's the thing, like when you have a show like that that's not historically accurate, people that, like if you've only watched the show and hadn't read shit about Marco Polo or Kublai Khan, Kublai Khan being the wrong Khan for
Wrong
him,
Khan.
but,
Yep.
Like if you don't know anything about either of these characters and you just watch the show, well, you didn't know shit anyway. So like maybe the information like that you've learned on there isn't great, but you probably know more about them than you did before anyway. Like when maybe it'll inspire you to like do some reading.
Right. So when I actually listened to a podcast called Wrath of the Khans,
Yeah,
by
you told me
Dan
about
Carlin.
that.
Super great, really in depth. So I went in knowing a shitload about the Khans, about the Mongols, I should say, and I still really liked it.
Yes.
I really liked it.
Yes, God
there
damn it, it was good.
There was some shit in there that didn't even make any, like, was completely out of, time periods and stuff. But who cares? Like,
Right.
they also showed a lot of, like, really interesting stuff.
Yes.
For example, Genghis Khan, and all of the cons for that matter, were, like, famous for, like, taking people into their, like, inner circle and, like, gleaning as much as they could out of them. And they really kind of show that, where, he's got this, like, monk that is, like, this super badass, martial arts monk or whatever. And there's just a ton of it. I loved it. And they fucking did 2 seasons and then stopped. And it, like, not on a cliffhanger, but, like, they just stopped the story.
Really abruptly, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a bummer. Netflix, come on, guys. You can probably do this. You have more money than God. Like,
Well,
fucking, like, just finish this shit.
I think maybe we need to get together some fan support, and then we need to rent an airplane.
And fly it into the... What?
No, we need a banner. Yeah, and
Bring back Marco Polo.
right? Which, actually, that sounds creepy. That sounds a little more necromancy. Like, bring back Marco Polo.
The actor
Whatever.
who played Kublai Khan in there, I do believe it was supposed to be Kublai that he was playing. It may have been Genghis, but that would have been wrong too.
That would have been-
would-
it would be
all
more
over
fucked
the
up,
place,
yeah.
more fucked up. But he's the actor who was in Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange's right-hand man, who's fucking hilarious and
Yeah.
brilliant in there.
Yeah. Yep.
If you
I
haven't seen
really-
Doctor Strange, I recommend it.
That was my favorite superhero.
Dude, again, there we go.
yeah.
Benedict.
The Doctor Who guy.
Yeah, Cumberbatch.
Or not Doctor Who. Or was he in Doctor Who too?
No. But
Sherlock
he
Holmes.
played Khan. He played Sherlock Holmes. Like, the
He-
guy's played
he is
some
great.
fucking cool. Like, he gets some roles, man, and he's a very legit actor.
When I watched that with Peyton and Logan one night, and I just thought it was gonna be like a throwaway movie, but I fucking really liked it. And his goddamn cape is awesome.
Man, yeah, fuck yeah.
It's like the cape is like a character.
And then his interactions with Tony Stark in the Avengers movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, those two should be in shit together.
Yeah, they should.
Oddly enough, they both played Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, man, I hated the Sherlock Holmes version. That
With Robert Downey Jr.
yeah, so bad.
Yeah, those were not great. You know what? Honestly, in being a Sherlock Holmes fan, like, I used to read Sherlock Holmes books,
Yeah, I never have done that either.
and but I still didn't mind those because they were like fun and they were like romps. So I enjoyed those. They definitely weren't as smart as the BBC Benedict Cumberbatch ones. And fuck, sooner or later I'm gonna have to learn that guy's name because I really like him a lot. So remember I talked about I think it was on my honorable mention list, Elementary,
Yeah.
with Lucy Liu and Johnny Lee Miller.
Oh,
I'm
that is a hillbilly name.
75% sure that's his name. but yeah, great. Do you know the actor that I'm talking about yet?
No, I have no idea.
So anyway, like the Elementary, I was getting caught up on this new cop show that I've been watching called The Deputy, which I talked about. And like that ended, and it was Hulu. So Hulu just makes a recommendation based on what you were just watching, and like,
Oh, sure.
here you go. Sure enough, a series that I've already watched beginning to end twice. Elementary starts,
Oh, okay.
and I'm like, oh, I've already seen this twice. Let me just leave this on. It's so fucking good.
Huh.
So,
I don't have Hulu, but
so Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu play Holmes and Watson, and they change some stuff up, but it's fucking brilliant. So it's a modern and definitely sexier spin on Lucy Liu's fine as fuck. and Johnny Lee Miller, whatever, is a handsome guy. And he's got the great accent. So like it's definitely a very sexy spin on the Sherlock Holmes thing, but that doesn't mean that they dumb it down. So like when he like reads like they explain how he comes up with these, like how he learns these things about people via observation.
Oh, I just realized that it was called Elementary.
Yes.
I should have figured that out earlier.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
I got that.
Okay.
Now.
So, so yes, and they actually explain like he will explain how he figured something out, and you're like, holy shit, that's good stuff. And I realized how much I appreciate that because I started watching a detective show where the guy like just knew the stuff, like blah 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 blah, but they never explained how he knew stuff, which was fucking infuriating. That doesn't make it sound brilliant. That makes it sound like he's got like a
superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought like that. I watched a little bit of Dexter. Did you ever watch Dexter?
You know what? Honestly, I'm a little ashamed that I didn't put Dexter in at least honorable mention.
Yeah, I thought it sucked. But,
I love that fucking show.
Yeah, I hated it. I just could not. Though that was where I was like, they can all die.
I mean, it trailed off, and I didn't finish watching the series. But
that was one of those where I was like, if everybody in this show fucking died right now in the next episode, I'd be like, clean slate. Let's start over. Like there was nobody I cared about. But I felt like that was kind of how I felt about him. Like when he would go into the crime scene, it would just be like he would like magic it up, and it's like he didn't have like that deductive reasoning that like
Holmes
does. Yeah,
and you can't do like a good Holmes without him explaining like this is how I knew that, because then like when he explains it, you're like, oh motherfucker.
I thought they did a really good job of that in Sherlock.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I.
And that's great too. For a while there, I tried to figure out which of those I liked better.
I didn't watch all of that Sherlock.
I'd recommend it.
I probably should go back. Like I said, when I stopped watching it because the show they were too fucking long.
It was it's so random. Am I watching an hour and a half? Am I in the middle of an hour and a half show, or am I in the middle of a 45-minute show?
Right.
Like what the fuck? But him and dude from Lord of the Rings.
Though, like these days, it just doesn't seem like it matters. Like I was watching Godless, and it's like Netflix has taken away they took away the whole like your next episode will begin in 10, 9. That doesn't happen anymore. It just goes right to your next episode. Did you know? You knew that, right?
Yeah, that shit was a waste of time.
Well,
they're really good at shit.
I guess they did that by popular demand because people were like, dude, I don't want to fucking wait 10 seconds between my episodes. And they're like,
what does that say about
us? It's the coronavirus. We'll just get rid of that. And I'm like, motherfuckers.
Sorry we bothered you with those 10 seconds.
But now I have to piss in the bed. Like this is, you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus.
But yeah, Elementary, that's
not on my list.
No.
Son of a bitch.
But I am going to write a little caption for that because that's what I was talking about when I messaged you the other night. I was like, well, where do you want me to put these recommendations? Because I was going to put like a trailer for the whole show.
Yeah, that's what I want to do on the website.
Okay. But then I wanted to add something. I wanted to write a little something in there, but I was like, where do I put that? How do I do this? So that's why I got all of it.
But yeah, you can just send that shit. Okay. Moving on, because I still have quite a few left to go on my top 5. I think I did beat Kyle. The next one, Vikings. Now, there is a caveat. Only like the first 4 seasons.
Thank you.
So I didn't want to disqualify it because I stopped watching it. But Ragnar Lothgood is so fucking cool. And so this is another historically, I don't want to say accurate. That's not the right word. What is the right word?
It's like saying that I'm good in bed.
No.
I was in bed.
No.
Was it good? That's that's up to your interpretation.
No. I'm talking about
it's historical, but it's not accurate.
Like as far as the things that happened aren't accurate, but the the boats are perfect. The armor is perfect. The weapons are perfect. The way that they their culture is really,
they got a
really
lot,
well done.
They got a lot of stuff right.
And then they just wrote a story that was set in history and a weird place.
Because there were some years before these years.
Definitely
and
all
whatever,
over the
you
place.
Just jumble it all up.
But it's not, they're not there's no plate armor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do a really, really good
Thanks
job.
for that shot at 13th Warrior.
Yes, that was a shot at the bow. I thought that was I fucking loved the very first episode of Vikings. The opening scene is so fucking cool. It's Ragnar Lothgood and his brother, and they are at the end of a battle, and it's just blood and crows. It is such a fucking amazing.
His brother's
awesome
character
opening.
is awesome.
Super awesome. And that's a guy who you kind of like, and then you despise,
Yes.
and he kind of ends up getting redeemed. But
yeah.
his redemption arc is very difficult. Because you're like, yeah, but still, you fucking cunt.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
still got some cunty
and he still
tendencies.
wants to fuck your wife. And there's just so much about it. It's just horrible. Yeah, really good. But we were talking about sacrifice before, about human sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I thought one of the most interesting things about this show was the whole way that they showed how the Norse did human sacrifice.
Yeah.
And how it
And how
had to be
willing-
willing.
Yeah.
And there's a character who is a Christian that they kind of they first abduct and then
Yeah.
then kind of
A great character.
fucking great. Do you remember his name? I was actually
Steve.
no, he's got a great name.
Pretty sure it was Steve. Steve is a great name.
Just give me a second.
I'm pretty sure all the Steves out there are lining
Shush.
up on this.
Ethnical.
Steve.
Anyway, but he's going to be sacrificed, and then he realizes it, and he's like, I don't fucking want to die, and it wrecked it for him, and then they couldn't sacrifice him or whatever. But
That's how Steve lived.
I tried to talk with Tharg about this, and he was like, he fucking stopped watching it after that episode because he was so upset that they were gonna sacrifice him. I was like, God, for such a fucking manly man, you're such a pussy.
So they nabbed Steve from a monastery
Yep.
in Ireland, and it's called the Lindisfarne. Is the
You couldn't remember that,
right?
but you can't.
My
remember
memory
his
works
name.
in fucking weird ways. But Lindisfarne, because Lindisfarne is the first. It wasn't the first thing that the Vikings ever did, but it probably got the most publicity, or at least the most history, because Lindisfarne was just a monastery, with a little village, and that was that just turned out to be important, because somebody wrote about it.
Right.
Before that, were those the first? Those were not the first Vikings
No,
to fucking.
no. Right.
But-
that part, they
and
took
there was
their
no-
liberties with history for sure. But
But they did that right
They did-
because there was no battle. I mean, that was just a
Right,
slaughter.
they
They
just
were
walked in and-
oh, you monks don't want to fight? Guess what? Sorry about your luck, because we came here to fucking,
there
all
were
I
some.
know is robbing banks and fucking black chicks.
There's also a scene later.
That
yeah,
show? Get that reference? Didn't even look.
There is a scene in there where they're in a battle with the French and whatever, and they end up being like, "Fuck, we need to how are we gonna outmaneuver them?"
It's
So
when they roll through the Maginot Line in World War II.
No, it's
that's how bad they are.
when
History
they-
in that show.
that actually happened. The carrying the boats across the mountain. That happened.
No, I know that happened.
That's a historic. So they go from they're in one river, and they have to they're like, fuck, what are we gonna do? So they end up picking up their dragon ships and carrying them over this mountain and dropping them back in. And one of my favorite characters in that show is Loki, who's this
The boat builder.
crazy boat builder engineer. very much like 12 Monkeys.
And
He's
very,
very,
yeah.
very 12
He's crazy.
Monkeys-y.
He's also like the most spiritual guy on
But
the
he's
show.
also, well, yes, but he is spiritual, but maybe not ethical. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
or it depends on, okay,
They're-
it depends on your, like, on your,
yeah,
on
your
on
worldview.
It depends
your
on
cosmology
your
is a little different if you have like a whole pantheon of gods and, you know, like,
right.
and you're not necessarily in that Christian
he isn't
ethos.
right. He thinks the fucking Christians are horrible. So
He really does. Yeah.
he really does.
He's
Plus,
like
man,
Steve's like nemesis on that
dude,
show.
I'm telling you, I have made so many axes because I have watched that show. I love it.
I enjoyed that show.
Oh, dude,
and,
do you remember the one where he does the where he gives the guy the eagle?
yeah,
The blood eagle.
yeah, which
Fuck.
is based on
Real,
like a real
historically accurate. This is a way you kill somebody by basically chopping down their spine and then pulling their lungs out so that they
Yeah.
come up over
like
their body
if you're torturing
to make
them,
it
like not just in
right.
You know,
But the thing is this is the thing about the fucking Vikings is it's not just that they fucking do this, but the person who's having it done to them has an opportunity to redeem themselves and go to Valhalla, go to heaven, if they can take it and not cry out. And that was like, oh man, dude, I have fucking shivers all over the place for this show. It is honestly probably, I don't want to know where it's at on my list, but it's up there. And then Ragnar Lothbrok dies. Lothbrok. Ragnar.
I think, right?
So,
Lothbrok?
yeah, whatever his name is. It's definitely Ragnar though, because when my son Logan told me originally that he
Lothbrok. It is Lothbrok. Yeah.
that he was gonna have a baby, I was like, Ragnar boy, Legatha girl. Legatha too. Legatha.
His wife in that show, sexy.
Fuck yeah.
Like, I mean, she's so I mean, is she a bombshell? She's an attractive woman, but like,
It's not
what makes
that,
her
though.
super sexy?
That's not what makes her sexy.
Well,
she's a
she's
fucking
shield
shield maiden.
right? who just is
who
like,
takes
without-
exactly,
spoiler alert, like-
exactly zero fucks. Like,
Yeah.
she just does not abide.
yeah.
I love her. I love her.
She's
I love
a
her.
great feminist character.
Yeah.
You know, like it just. That.
And I
fucking
mean, the
show
thing is
dope as
people,
fuck.
I mean, they had shield maidens. Like, there were
Yeah.
female Norse warriors. The show is pretty goddamn good.
And that is backed up by archaeology. No, it's not. Like, it wasn't like as far as we can tell, not a super common thing. You know, like probably didn't go on raids and stuff like that. But yeah, but it was a real thing.
The only thing that disappointed me as far as like the historical part of it is and I don't know, maybe they do later on, but I haven't seen like anything of the last season, and I think I watched half of the season before, but I was like, fuck this. I just don't care anymore if any of these people die.
Well, you know,
Except for Bjorn, who is awesome, who is Ragnar's son. He's pretty fucking awesome. But other than that, I'm like, I can't watch a show for one fucking character.
you know, and like he had one son that was cool, and the rest of them, meh.
Because he had one son with Legatha.
Yeah.
That's Bjorn Ironsides. Bjorn Ironsides, badass motherfucker.
And then you've got fucking like Ivar the Boneless and stuff like that.
Which he's like a semi-historical character.
100%. Especially like we know mostly about him because of his like the history of England. But
See, I don't know shit about him.
well, he's probably the most famous guy in his line. Like way more famous than like right. I don't even like okay. Ragnar was obviously a real person. I did not realize that Ivar the Boneless like had a famous grandfather or whatever. Because I think he was a grandfather, not necessarily his father.
Whatever.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. That fucking show. Like every time every episode for the first few seasons, I'm like, I need to join the SCA. That's Society for Creative Anachronism, because, like, I feel like I could just pick up I feel like because because of my ethnicity. I feel like because of my racial stock, I could just pick up a shield and sword and do pretty well.
So that's so you're basically you're saying, come on, show those white boys how to dance.
Right. But that show made me like want to like fight like.
Dude, I live every day
shield.
of my life wanting to
And-
fight with sword and shield and axe, and let's go throw some axes.
Right.
So
What are you doing the rest of the weekend? Let's
absolutely
you wanna go,
nothing.
You want to go attack an Abbey? Because
Let's go.
I'd be in.
You know what?
It's a good way to start.
We probably ought not to, because that bitch would probably fuck us up.
Oh,
Heavily armed.
that Abbey. Yeah.
That's the only Abbey.
I was
know.
thinking Lindisfarne, but yeah, Lindisfarne seems way safer than actually our Abbey.
Yeah, we don't want to fuck with our Abbey. Okay, the one
We know
thing.
we know she can take a blow to the head.
The one. Come after her with mag lights. Okay, those are some way deep throwbacks. So you're gonna have to go back to episode 22, watch Abby Gets, and if you don't want to do that, well then fuck you. You don't get to know what I'm
Right
talking
on.
about.
Yeah, deal with it.
The only thing about Vikings that I was a little bit disappointed in, as far as like the like all of the like their culture, whatever,
The haircuts?
they never got into they never got into blacksmithing. There's no metal work
That's
in there
true.
at all.
And Vikings did have impressive swords.
The best ever, period.
Really?
Even better than katanas. Okay, so I'm gonna just gonna like.
Well, you'd
I'm
bust
gonna,
the shit out of a katana. Like
I'm
going
gonna
up
just
against the
I'm
Vikings.
just gonna weapon smith, blacksmith geek out just a little tiny bit. But I'm telling you, the Viking sword was the best sword ever made. Like what they did is they took two pieces of steel, high carbon steel and low carbon steel, and they braided it together, and then they formed a blade. That's the center of the blade. Then they took another piece of super high carbon steel and they wrapped it around and forged that together, right? So it's actually three completely independent pieces of steel all welded together. It's almost impossible to do. Like, to this day, there are very few weaponsmiths that could actually successfully make a Viking blade. And a katana is also made out of three pieces of steel. It has a low carbon steel on the back, and then a high carbon steel. It's folded, and then a high carbon on the very front. But it's half as hard as a Norse blade. Like, on my bucket list of things that I would like to do before I die is to forge.
Kill a man with a Viking sword. Oh,
is to forge a Viking sword, and then kill a man with it.
check.
It's probably outside of my skill set. I probably don't have enough years left in my life to master that. That said, that's the only part of it that I was like kind of disappointed in. They didn't get into they got into the sword a little bit because Ragnar, like, he got the sword, and that was like a big, like, having a, like, there weren't tons of swords, like that was a rare weapon. That was like basically kings and fucking like really like awesome people had swords, and there are very few like remaining Viking swords because fucking assholes always like did the whole Viking pirate ship thing, or, the ship where that was a real, where they would put them on a pyre on a small boat with wood, and then they'd send them off and shoot the arrows in it, right out of Game of Thrones. They actually did that.
Viking funeral. Yeah.
Viking funeral. That was a real thing, and swords don't do well in those environments.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, they dig them up once in a while and stuff like that from like mound burials and stuff. And I mean,
there's like a dozen of them in the world. Yeah, very few. Okay, we done with Vikings? If you haven't seen it, fucking
For now.
watch it.
I feel like we should have a Viking episode.
I'm gonna Viking that
We'll
shit.
dress up.
So-
We'll dress up in costumes.
One of my favorite things that Kyle's ever said that he's ever said to me is he said that is it a verb? A verb.
An action word? Yeah.
An action word. Yeah, he said, I've decided I'm going to make Viking a verb. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, like if I want something, I'm just going to go Viking it.
Well, it sounded better than the pay the iron price.
Right,
You know?
right.
I mean, if you're a big Game of Thrones fan, you know what like paying the iron price is. But if you're just gonna Viking that shit, because I mean, well, going and Viking was a verb, like the Vikings weren't a people. Viking was like going Viking, was a verb initially, which meant like just stealing.
Which is interesting because even in the show, they never ever used the word Viking.
No,
it's not even a word. Like I don't think it's ever mentioned.
No, but I mean it is.
The other thing, the last thing I want to say about this fucking show, Burpee McBurperton, is that
right? I'm burping like crazy.
Well, it's because you drank 2 pitchers of beer.
I'll do better on my 3rd pitcher, I promise.
Is that what the fuck? You don't know these actors and actresses. These are they're all from fucking Norway, Sweden, Denmark. They are like fucking. They have the coolest accents, right? They're actual like.
I've got something I want to say about that show. If you were a Game of Thrones, or like if you were not Game of Thrones, sorry. If you were a Sons of Anarchy fan.
Do you notice that's not on my list, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about the people out there. If you like Sons of Anarchy, and you didn't like Vikings, you thought if you think Sons of Anarchy is cooler than Vikings, then then your husband should explain that to you.
Well, then you're also probably walking around licking doorknobs and not social distancing.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, can we pause?
Do you got to pee again?
Pee so bad.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
All right.
We've reached that point.
Pitcher 3. Coming right up. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Spitballing. I'm Matt Taylor. Here with my good buddy,
Ragnar Lothbrok.
Wow. Next on my list, one of the best drama series of all time, Ray Donovan. I can't believe that didn't make your list. You quote that show.
Not quite there.
What, man?
I just quote Mickey Donovan because he was fucking awesome. Like in a shitbag kind of way.
So,
but Ray Donovan was dope as fuck.
Talking about like shows that make me cry. I can
old-fashioned solutions to modern problems.
Yeah, that's really it. Yes. I've hardly gotten through an episode of Ray Donovan without crying. Like it's like every single one of them just
they charge that shit. Like from his background to his family's like trials and tribulations and stuff. That show is a fucking amazing drama.
It is. It's really, really good. It's about a guy who's a fixer. He lives in, it starts out where he lives in Hollywood, but
he's like a East Coast gangster. He was a Boston guy.
Boston gangster.
And who makes his way to L.A. and starts a career as a fixer because that's where people with money fuck up.
Right.
That Miami, but.
My favorite, like, there's so many great fucking episodes, but the very, very first episode is one of my favorite episodes, and there's this actress who has some stalker, and he ends up fucking getting the guy, and he brings him into this into this like bathroom in like hotel or whatever, and he fills the bathtub full of like gum, right, and so it's like bright green or bright blue or whatever. Yeah, like spearmint gum. And he says, the gum or the bat? And he makes the guy choose. Like, is he going to fucking break his legs or dye him blue or green or whatever it is? And then in the next scene, the guy's all green. But yeah, it's pretty something else.
Well, because he's so civilized. It's always like, don't make me do this. Everything has that don't make me fucking do this
right.
vibe. Like can we do this reasonably? Like, it's always like that. Like the perfect... Like what we want in our lives. Man, if I can be reasonable with you, that would be great. Like awesome. Thanks. Cool. I appreciate it. Like I'm glad we got to have this talk. But if it can't go that way, and of course, like being a fan of the show, like you're always rooting for shit to go. Like, you want him to do brutal, shit, but it's so fucking good.
It really is
I
good.
love that fucking show.
And you on your list, you had MASH.
Yes.
And I are you current on it? On Ray Donovan?
Oh, yeah, I watched it all.
Yeah. Because, what's his name? From MASH, he plays Ray Donovan's therapist. Aldman, Aldman.
Wait a minute. From MASH.
Yeah.
Who is he on MASH?
I don't fucking know.
Now I'm trying to think of like who played Ray Donovan's, because it's been a couple of years now.
Well,
Who played Ray Donovan's goddamn therapist?
we'll have to look it up. But yeah, it definitely. He's definitely the guy.
Oh, Alan Alda?
Alan Alda.
Oh.
Yeah, he plays Ray Donovan's therapist, and he's just great in it. Yeah, it's super awesome. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Just fucking check it out. It's so good. It's one of those shows. Well, I always say it's like really interesting that like this fucking show about this guy who like
his
fixes
family,
everybody
like,
else's problems.
His brothers are like
Great.
great characters, great
Yep.
characters, great actors too.
Great
like,
actors.
and of
I
course,
didn't
his dad
real-
is played by John Voight. That's
He has
Mickey
one,
Donovan.
his older brother has Parkinson's.
Yeah, it works the shit out of that on the screen.
And
Like it does a great job.
Fucking saw him in something else, and I was like, the bitch don't have Parkinson's. I thought he had Parkinson's. Like I was like, no, he doesn't have Parkinson's. And then in the show, I don't want to wreck anything, but there's a period of time where he doesn't have Parkinson's, and it was just so weird to see him be normal and be like, oh, there's so much in that show that's so good. And if you're a fan of boxing too, I think that's another. It's a good boxing show.
Yeah. His third brother, man. When they discover him and shit, like you're like, get the fuck out of here, and then he turns out to be a badass. That
so
show's
good.
so fucking good.
Okay, The Office.
Never saw an episode.
I think you should give it a try. I really do.
I've given it I really haven't given it a try. I was gonna say I've started it, but like that means I've got like a couple minutes into it. I need to.
So, I had a really, really hard time getting into The Office. Like, first of all, I thought it was not funny. Like, I started, like, the first episode, it makes me feel bad. Like, it does, I was like, this is just fucking uncomfortable, you know? Michael Scott.
I struggle with that whole uncomfortable thing. Like,
I do too. Like, Meet the Fockers, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Right? No, I don't like that at all. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. But you gotta trust me. It starts out uncomfortable, and then it pushes through to this. It's truly one of the best love stories of all time. And man, like it's the show that if I want to just like if I need to like I can pick it up anywhere and just be like bam, yep, here we go. Random Office. It is amazing. I really, really suggest it. We don't need to talk about it anymore because you haven't seen it. But yeah, all of those characters are so great. I mean, Dwight Schrute, you know, there's just too many
Ragnar
of them.
Lothbrok.
It's
Wait,
great.
No, never mind.
So and another thing about The Office is it's done as like a documentary style, right? So like it's shot like interview style, right? And that was like the first time that had ever happened on like network television, right?
Well, because usually like it's a familiar thing. Like people like they've done it on shows previously, but it's always like an episode. You know, like on this episode they're gonna have like a news crew following them around and shit.
Right.
You know, like, but the whole series.
Is
done
shot
like that.
like there's a right, which they never ever explain. Why would this news crew or like this documentary film crew like follow them through 7 years? And they actually break the wall in like the 7th season or something like that. Really brilliant. And then right after The Office, the same crew started working on a new show,
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Which I tried to watch. But yeah, I've tried to watch Parks and Rec too. Just 'cause Amy Poehler.
Yeah, Amy Poehler. Yeah. I also love Parks and Rec.
I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna give him a shot. I'm gonna
Ra-
watch. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do at least 3 episodes.
Yeah, you might. I mean, yeah. The Office might take a few more than 3, I don't think Parks and Rec does, because Parks and Rec was just great.
I have the tenacity. I actually tried to, like, you and I have talked about. What's that shitty series that everybody loves? About
We're going to talk about
Meth
it.
Lab guy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it next.
Okay. No, never mind then.
But Parks and Rec, Ron Swanson, my fucking hero, right? The character is my hero, and the man behind him, Nick Offerman, also my hero. Yeah, fucking loved him. Like I've always talked about, I can't like watch comedies or whatever. I don't find these to be comedies. I find them to be dramas. I can watch those by myself. Love them. Absolutely love them. Great. So, moving into Rural Meth Lab Blues, Breaking Bad.
Fuck that show.
I understand why some people can't like that show.
I gave it 2 seasons. I watched 2 seasons of that shit.
So to me, Breaking Bad is much like the meth that they make. If you try it 10, 12 times and you don't like it, it ain't for you. But for me, I was all in. Breaking Bad was fucking amazing, in my opinion. It's the premise of the show.
I may have watched 3 seasons because, like, I think when I stopped watching that, there was a pair of Mexican hitmen after them.
Yeah.
And I think that was
That's
at the end of
there.
season 2.
Yeah.
But it might have been season
if you were
3.
like seriously
I was
like weren't just hooked by then, yeah, that drug's not for you. But for me, it was fucking amazing. If the premise of the show is pretty straightforward, it's about straightforward. It's all fucking convoluted, but it's about a guy who ends up getting cancer. He's a chemistry teacher in high school, and like he doesn't want to leave his family all
doesn't want
fucked
to sink
up.
his family and
So
with all the debt and shit.
So he ends up
Which
starting to
wouldn't
make
be a
meth.
problem, but Bernie, we're not talking about Bernie. Anyway.
Actually, well, let's finish with a little political thing because I didn't want to talk a little bit about walls, but yeah. So kind of in a weird, quirky, interesting premise, but it goes so fucking crazy deep and it goes all over the place. Couple of things about the show that I thought was like super duper interesting.
And
Walter White.
what's the young guy's name? Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse.
Why do I know these names? Because that show is so fucking popular.
Yeah, so popular.
Like I don't remember those characters. I don't remember shit. I don't remember liking anything about that show. But like it was just so fucking huge. Like that show was big.
Huge. Yeah. Yeah. One thing I thought was super interesting about the show, much like in Star Trek Discovery, they had this gay couple that kind of was in it, and it was there, but it was never in your face. Walter White's son has, they never say what he has, but I believe it's cerebral palsy, right? It's not an issue. It's not like he's just a character that is there throughout the entire show, and it really humanized. That's not maybe the right word, but it like you don't think about it as you don't think about him as Walter White's cerebral palsy kid. You just think about him as Walter White's son.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times people with disabilities often get, tokenized. And I always felt like that was something that was really interesting about Breaking Bad, was that they that they never made that a thing. It was just there. Plus, the kid was an awesome actor.
Cool.
Another thing, it had the best fucking season finale of all goddamn time.
Series finale or season
Series finale.
Series finale?
The very last episode
those are hard to come by.
is the best episode of any television show I
calling
have
bullshit
ever
on that.
seen. What do you think would be better?
MASH.
I don't know. Yeah, I never saw it. I mean, I probably saw it.
Somebody tell him.
The only show that I think might have the Newsrooms
was pretty fucking was pretty good.
it was really, really good. But Breaking Bad was better. It was the best, and because they
if you've watched this,
they
if you've
stopped.
watched this show for this long, I really want your feedback. I have not seen Breaking Bad's series.
well,
finale.
and you couldn't because if you watched it, it would just not be good because you have to watch.
Well,
all
see,
of
I was
going
going
to
to tell you like watch MASH. Oh, what's that? Oh, watch that episode.
mean, I'm probably
but
sure
like
I have.
you know, what I want to know is if any of you out there, anybody, please let us know. Fuck, we like we beg for feedback. Like, I mean, like we do.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
beg for feedback.
Yeah, we'll take your feedback.
If you've seen like if you've seen enough MASH and like you've seen the final episode and you've seen the final episode of Breaking Bad, obviously you watched the whole show.
Boy,
Whatever.
just the way he says
I
it.
really want to know.
So dismissive. Breaking
It's
Bad.
because it's not MASH.
Breaking
It's
Bad.
You know, yeah.
Also,
But-
but yeah, I do think it had the best. Also, did you ever watch that stupid sitcom that had the guy from Breaking Bad in it? Bet Malcolm in the Middle or something like that?
no.
Yeah, I never did either. Fuck that piece of shit.
Yeah, sitcoms are a dime a dozen. That shit.
Yeah,
Like,
it was you know
The
whatever.
Big Show from wrestling. Like I've mentioned wrestling a couple of times. I'm not a wrestling fan. He has his own sitcom right now, and like that shit was on for like 15 minutes, and I got my. I'm gonna insult sitcoms because they definitely have their place, but god damn it, like
I actually don't know if I've ever like.
you know what I don't love? I don't love Seinfeld.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know
know.
what else I don't love? I don't love Friends.
You know. No.
Um, Like, have I enjoyed episodes? Yes, of both shows, very much, for sure. You know.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
like, do I love them? No. I know people who like. I'm just not that kind of person that fucking like super digs sitcoms.
What I was
you're not
gonna say.
like Northern Exposure is probably the closest thing to a sitcom that I've ever
that's
fucking like, fell in
it's
love
an
with.
hour long. Like they're hour episodes. It was a drama.
Yeah, it was.
I like
But closest thing to a
the,
sitcom that you'll
the
ever find on my
two
list. I think.
sitcoms that I like have on my list are The Office and Parks and Rec. I think both of them are
Sure.
situational comedies.
And I mean, and we're not being like, you know, like we're not like you and your stupid sitcoms, because there's animated shit on my list. You know, like,
Right.
like whatever.
I don't
like,
know if those
I'm not
probably
looking-
aren't
I don't look.
sitcoms.
I don't look down on fucking sitcoms or anything like that. I just don't find them super fun.
what I was gonna say though
overall.
is like Malcolm in the Middle was a throwaway sitcom. But the guy who played
Like Everybody Loves
Walter
Raymond.
White.
If
Like that. Like it was the same thing. But the guy who plays Walter White was fucking the Malcolm in the Middle dad, right? And he went from that shitty like sitcom, gets in here, and I was like, isn't that the fucking guy from Malcolm in the Middle? And then, Jesus Christ, he's just a fucking evil, great. It's truly he's truly an anti-hero.
You know, you should try this. And I don't know if you've watched this show before, but there's another show out there that I just finished watching the third season of. It is Ozark.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's
So-
all over like Netflix right now. It's like on the
Yeah, I'd heard
Meta
about.
loved it.
I'd heard about it and I've never watched it. I'm like, oh really? You know, when I start watching it, and I was like, okay, fuck. You know, you kind of got me here. Like I watched a couple episodes and I'm like, all right. Now,
You're a junkie.
well, I mean, it's not amazing. It's not fucking like a game changer or anything, but it's fucking really, really good.
Huh.
And it's got that thing going where like these are like ordinary people basically. They're very like normal people, in a that get themselves into like a weird situation and stuff. And it kind of like you just get to see like how fucking gangster ordinary people can get, get like thrust into the
Yeah.
right situation.
No, yeah, I can grab
And
that.
that kind of like the whole Walter White.
Walter White.
The whole Walter White thing like made me think of that. I'm like, ordinary people like with, you know, circumstances like thrust into these situations can get kind of fucking raw. You know?
Yeah, like part of what I really loved about the Breaking Bad series is that that's kind of how it starts out. Is that it's about this guy who has an extraordinary. It's a normal person in an extraordinary situation, but then he evolves into like a true bad guy. And then he evolves again into a redemption arc. It's a well written story, and it's not for everybody. If you went 3 seasons and you still don't like it, fuck it. Then fine, you tried. But I really liked it.
At the
And
point
I
that
even
when I
loved-
gave up on it, like my favorite character was his brother-in-law,
Yeah.
the cop.
The cop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's great. He's great. Yeah. It's awesome. And then there's a spin-off of it, which isn't on my list because I did stop watching it after a while. I just don't know exactly why. But it's called Better Call Saul, and it's about his lawyer, Saul Goodman.
I didn't even know that was a spin-off
Yeah. Yeah. There's 2 or 3 seasons.
because
It's
that
on
show got to be
Netflix.
popular.
It's pretty good, yeah. Yep. That's a spin-off of, so that is the story of Walter White's attorney and what he does. Well, it's both how he got there. They do a really good job of it, and actually he's a pretty fucking amazing actor because he plays 2 characters 20 years apart. And he does a really good job of it. I don't know. It's pretty fucking amazing. Though I did stop watching it. I just, I have a lot of shit to watch. Okay, I only have 2 more. I missed Lost in
Hey.
Space. It was over here.
I'm going to start that show.
You've already seen season 1.
No.
Oh,
I've
dude.
seen like an episode or 2 of season 1.
So I almost forgot about
But
Lost in Space because I watched season 1 in one day. You fucking A. Go. Run, you little pussy. Hurry the fuck up. Welcome back to Spitballing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Taylor here with my small bladdered good buddy.
Walter White.
And we're just about finished up with our list. Kyle probably only have to take 2 or 3 more bathroom breaks. I have never actually made fun of anybody for the size of their bladder because I think I piss more than any human being I've ever met,
Dun, dun, dun.
except for Kyle Amundsen after his second pitcher of beer. Okay, Lost in Space. You haven't started?
No, I'm like, I think I watched like the first episode and it was pretty decent, and like started the second, but for some reason or whatever, I just never really got into it. I know it's there. It's like, I keep forgetting about it, but like it was cast well. It like had a good budget. I kind of like everything about it. I just like it. I like everything about it at a 6 to 6.5.
Yeah. Well, you got to give it a little more. But I kind of forget about Lost in Space because I watched the entire first season in one night. Or one day. Like, I mean, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, Lost in
There's
Space.
nothing wrong with that.
You know how, like, they were pumping it up on Facebook. It came out. I watched 1 episode, and then I just skipped sleeping and fucking, like, watched it all, right? And I fucking loved it. And then it ended, and then it took a long time for season 2 to come out. And I finally, like, got around to watching season 2, and, dude, it's even better. I really, really like it. It's always difficult because it centers around a child. And
Well, and they've been trying to resurrect Lost in Space for a while now.
yeah, I don't.
Because there was like a movie or something.
Yeah, which was
and-
fucking horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like, this is a
like I think I had Joey from Friends on there, which like I don't know if I've told you this before, but I super love Friends. It's my favorite show of all time.
right number
No,
1.
but Joey Tribbiani.
They do, yeah, a great job. One thing that I was really interested in is that, like, season 1, the kid's like 10 years old. Season 2, the kid's like 10 years old. So, like, they must have shot the principal photography, like, at the same time period. Like, because man,
or their cloning technology
is well,
impressive.
it's probably not bad.
They probably got like a whole giant room. Like if we broke into that like that studio or whatever, they have like a huge this giant
Like a
room
vat?
full of like
And then-
just that kid after that kid after that kid, and they're only they're like a month apart.
It'll be
They're
like
weeks
that
apart.
kid, and then Palpatine, and then that kid.
Yes.
No, season 2 is fucking amazing. It's such a fun show, and I just watch. Also, it has the same actor, who in it that is the captain, in Black Sails. And I like that guy as an actor. So super
yeah,
good.
that guy. Yeah, actually, I like that guy a lot too. I need to see him
Yeah.
in more stuff.
So
He's excellent.
Lost in Space. I meant to have that in the sci-fi section, but it was an afterthought. But I definitely like it. And the last one on my list of 5 is Making a Murderer. And it's a little outside the genre.
Is that the Wisconsin one?
Yes, it's a Netflix original series, and it's about this guy.
That's one of those shows that like usually if a show like just blows up on
Everybody's talking about it.
then I
whatever.
wind up watching it, but I have never even, not for a second, started watching that show.
So take Don't Fuck with Cats. And times it by 1,000. This is the most fucked up story of all time. And it's true.
Well, it's Wisconsin.
Well, it's even worse. It's Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It's fucking crazy. I don't want to get into it, but you really, really need to watch it. I am a junkie for it. And the other thing that's really cool about it is it's an ongoing story. Like, season 3 hasn't been shot yet because they don't know what's going to fucking happen yet. Like, they're waiting on the next
Now, how big
thing.
is this town? You know,
Manitowoc's
like,
a small town, Brainerd size. Yeah.
man, because there's a couple of different ways that like small town law enforcement can go.
Yeah, this was bad.
Like sometimes it's just a clusterfuck, and you're like, "What's your job again?" Like it's fucking awful. But I think it really shows up. Like I live in a town where law enforcement is fucking spectacular. These you meet these people and shit, and you're like, man, I feel good about living here. Like that much better about living here, because of like local law enforcement.
Yeah, Manitowoc,
You can
Wisconsin's
go
not that way.
Yeah, you can go
Well,
right up the
and I
fucking
shouldn't
road
say-
and that's how difference. Like that's how stark the difference is. Like around here, you can drive from like one town, like where I live in Pequot Lakes, and you're like, oh, this is like these people are like great. They get it, like that protect and serve thing. Like you feel it, and then you can drive for 15 minutes. You can drive a short ways and
North?
get to a town.
Jenkins,
There's a lot of places around here.
Hackensack.
And you're like, oh my God, it's like I would say I would use Barney Fife, but I think Barney Fife is actually too good an example because he's so benevolent. Like some of these towns are just rife with shitheads, and some of the worst shitheads are their law enforcement. But
Dude, I seriously,
that's why
I seriously think if you
crimes
get
don't solved.
into Making a Murderer, you're fucked.
Man,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, you're fucked. I really, really enjoyed it. And there's some characters, they're real, but there's some people in there. I just want to fucking meet them. Like, I want to meet his mom and dad. Like, they're just like great. And like,
Is it crazier than
it's fucking
Tiger King or
crazier.
whatever?
So,
Because that
kind
shit,
of-
like I told you, like that shit doesn't faze me. Because I was like 2 hours into Tiger King, and I'm like, these people are like people from my hometown. Like this
Yeah.
guy is like a dude, like the Tiger King guy. Like Joe is like a guy that I grew up
So
with.
the thing about the whole Tiger King thing, which I really enjoyed, I thought it was fun, right? But it was also not important. I mean, I'm not saying it's not important, but
From what I've heard,
this guy
Wisconsin one- yeah.
fucking went to prison for rape, right? Got exonerated because he didn't fucking do it, and then
they got
went
him
to
for some
prison
shit
for
anyway.
murder, and is still in prison for murder. Okay, I just wrecked the show for you, but I didn't at all. Watch it. It's fucking crazy, and he's still in jail. And his
Christine
co-
loves that true crime
and his
shit, so I'll watch
I
it.
don't even like true crime.
Neither do
This
I,
shit
but
just
she loves it.
infuriated me. And and his fucking co-murderer has just been exonerated and is now out
Is this guy black?
No, dude, he's white trash. Like
Which is,
it's
you
the
know.
it's the Wisconsin version of black.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Please watch
Unless
it.
one of my brothers from
Report
Milwaukee.
back. All right, that's enough. That is my list. That is my top 545 best TV series of all time. I'm sure we missed some, and if you guys out there like have some that we or and shit on, there's tons of shows
Man,
that we
like
probably
I said,
haven't
we're
even
begging
seen.
for your feedback. Please
Yeah.
let us know what you think.
Let us know. I did want to talk a little bit about a little bit of politic and stuff before we go. So
Please, I don't like to talk
a
politics.
couple of things happened since the last time we got together. One of them is that
One of them is that they took Governor Walz and put him in charge of the whole country.
no, that didn't happen, but I
And
wish it would.
Right? In the grown-up world, that would be amazing.
Well, the first one is that the burn was extinguished.
Yeah.
So
And I keep fucking reading about all the people out there that are going to take they're going to take a stand. Fuck the 4 years like in between presidential elections. They're not going to do it then. But now is the best fucking time for them to take a stand and make sure that the Democratic Party knows that, you know what, they're going to go to their fucking safe space. And they're going to fucking sit this one out, or they're going to they're going to fucking vote for some third party candidate or whatever. And
that's
whatever,
very
like,
dismissive.
and absolutely it fucking is. But all I can think about is fucking like Ruth Bader Ginsburg fucking sitting at home being like, no, please don't sit this one out. I really don't even want to fucking like cling to life for fucking 4 more years at this point. And all these fucking like I can't be fair about it. And I'm going to fucking tell you right now, this is not me being fair. Like, if you're one of those people, I'm probably like not thinking about it from your point of view, and I'm being an asshole right now. But like, just from what I see.
So let me just clarify. What you're specifically talking about is you're talking about people who would identify themselves as Democrats or liberals that are saying, I can't vote for Uncle Joe
Biden.
because for
Like
whatever
every
reason,
famous person in history, he's being accused of rape.
yeah,
And maybe it's legit.
Okay, Kyle.
I'm not going to diminish
There are there's a multitude of things about Joe Biden that are easy to not like.
for sure.
A multitude.
For sure.
So these people, there are a lot of people out there that feel fucking betrayed by their party and feel like Bernie got the shaft again,
Which he fucking did.
and they're just
I'm all
unwilling
in.
to continue to support an organization that continues to fuck them. And you're saying,
Between eating a shit sandwich and starving to death, man, pass me the ranch.
well, I think that's well said. I agree with you, but I do it with a heavy heart.
Absolutely.
Like,
Do I want to vote for Joe? Joe Biden is establishment as fuck.
yeah,
Is he worse than Donald Trump?
No.
Fuck no.
there
Are
really,
you kidding?
there is no worse than Donald Trump. I mean, like, I can't. No,
Kyle Amundsen, 2020.
fuck, like, give me anything. But I
No,
do.
I'm saying I could be
do
worse
have,
than Donald Trump.
Oh no, I could you?
If I put my... I'd have to
Yeah,
put
you
some-
probably could.
I'd
Actually,
have to fucking work at it, but, I can get low.
maybe COVID-19 is a silver lining. Like,
Man, COVID,
Joe's definitely.
that shit would only be the silver lining if it, like, affected people, like...
Well, no, but Joe's definitely in the target.
If it was if it was 65 and under like IQ instead of 65 and over age, then that shit might be the answer. But then again,
I did,
we'd have a one-party system for the next fucking
I did send you
50
that
years.
that exchange on Facebook, but my my brother, who continues to post some really fucking stupid shit on Facebook, was talking about something about how he just wishes they'd come up with an anecdote An antidote, not an anecdote.
I was
an
going to say,
antidote.
I'll come up with an anecdote in a heartbeat.
They come up with an antidote for this virus, so everybody can just get back to work. And of course, my sister Shelly,
Yeah.
who is
Right? We're not talking about a poison.
and she says she posts on his Facebook like an antidote is for like a poison. Actually,
Give
for
me
viruses,
antidote.
for viruses, you actually need a vaccine. And I probably should have just kept my fucking mouth shut, but I couldn't.
Start my life.
So I responded to hers, and I said, is there an antidote? An antidote? I can't say that word for some reason. Is there an antidote for stupidity? Or is that a vaccine? Or is that shit just fatal? Yeah, we left it there. But yeah, I was bummed out, man. I was bummed out about the burn.
Man, that's because, the whole outsider thing, like, you've got one good man, and then you've got a bunch of fucking... We'll just call them people that are afraid of his ideas.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, being president isn't about, you don't just, oh, these are my ideas, and they are all going to, be law now. Fuck it. You know what? I've been so, I've been doing that, blissfully, basically ignoring politics. Well, I shouldn't say ignoring, but I've been, not even talking about politics.
The
as
thing
much
is
as
that this current situation has really, changed the... I have a hard time. I put a post out on Facebook about how, it's crazy how I haven't heard shit about saving the tower lately. And people went fucking ape shit on it. People apparently are still upset. But it's like what I was saying was it's like, oh, thank God we have coronavirus to put some actual shit into perspective. Because guess what? That fucking tower doesn't matter at all. Compared to saving people's lives and fucking whatever. I did get some shit on there, but
Yes.
Mr. Bidet got a little pissy with me.
His Excellency, the mayor now.
Is he the mayor now? Oh, again.
He is.
Oh,
He
right.
is.
See, I've been paying close attention.
I just ran into it.
Well, his honor.
And I do actually, when this is all said, when this is all over with, we need to have Dave back on the show.
Oh, for sure.
I super enjoy him.
Yeah, I'll fight with that motherfucker anytime.
Man.
So it's
make
just
out with him with
it's
his great
just
hair.
saying that it doesn't this has really brought some shit into perspective. Is all I was saying. That's what I was trying to say. But it was still fun to start a fight. And then did you
Start a fight?
Did you get a chance to listen to Governor Walz's State of the State?
No.
Did you read it?
No, I haven't. No, I should. Actually, to be honest, ever since the interpreter thing,
Yeah.
I've been just listening to clips and stuff.
Hey, so what's about the interpreter thing?
Oh, well, a couple of weeks ago and stuff, he's in the interpreter. They have a great interpreter. He's got a great interpreter. Whoever.
Doing sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in if you're a really advanced ASL interpreter, you are very expressive.
Animated, yeah,
You're
expressive, sure.
you're very animated, and that shit lends itself to being a spectacular sign language interpreter.
Right.
And but it's also hard to watch sometimes. It's really distracting.
Okay.
Not hard to watch. It's just it's distracting. You have to be a fucking grown up. You can't be doing two things at one time. Whatever. Or multiple things. I don't know how much time an actual grown up can do
It's
things.
like
I don't know how
watching
many times
subtitles. It's like trying to read subtitles and watch a movie. I can't do it. Right. So but I heard a bunch of shit about this interpreter.
Yes.
But I didn't
And I'm
hear
sure she's
what was the
I'm
point.
sure she's top notch and stuff, but it was really distracting.
Was she super all over the place and?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's what they do.
Okay,
you know,
right? Yes. I actually thought
if all
I
your
thought
cues are
everybody was saying
visual
she was
and not
hot.
audio. Oh no, no.
So I didn't understand, but everybody was like, "Oh my god, that interpreter!"
Although,
And I said,
that's not a
"Man,
bad
when I
idea."
listened to his address on NPR,
Yeah.
I didn't find the interpreter distracting at all. It was what I said on that. So, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but
But like, if nobody's keeping score, that guy is pretty amazing. We're lucky to have him.
so the state of the state. So the other night, Meta, we're laying in bed watching a True Blood, of course, and she like kind of is sniffling. And she's on her phone sometimes a lot. Like she'll go on. She can totally multitask. Like she can watch a movie, do shit on her phone, and fucking like knit at the same time. That's on me. Like I'm all in. Like I do one thing and one thing only. She sniffles a little bit. I was like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing. I'll tell you after the show." I was like, "Oh shit, fuck, somebody died or something." Anyway, show ends. I said, "What? So what's going on?" She said, "Oh, I was just reading."
It's all right. I'll ask you 20 questions next episode, but whatever.
Right. No, she doesn't. No, she knows.
No?
She knows I need my own. Like I can't be. I can't split my focus. So she's like, I said, "What? So what was going on?" She's like, She was. I was just reading the state of the state address by from the governor from
And
Governor
was
Walz.
moved by it.
And I said, "What?" I said, "It made you like tear up," and she's like, "Yeah, it was really emotional." And I said, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, here, I'll send it to you." And I was like, "No, I'm not reading that shit. Read it to me." So she fucking read it to me. We were both fucking
What?
puddles, baby.
Why do I not? Oh man! So I picked bad shit to miss.
So, yeah, you got to go check it out. I'd like to. I actually I didn't go back and like
Let's link it.
watch it. Yeah, I'll put a link to it. But he talked to the people of Minnesota. I was fucking proud to be a Minnesotan at the end of the fucking speech, but I was also like moved to action. Like he fucking touched me.
He's
It
a
was
leader.
fucking amazing.
A leader.
A leader. And
We don't
maybe
really like.
only
We take that shit for granted. We don't know what that. We don't know what that looks like now.
maybe only because of comparison. You know, maybe only because like, you know, from a national level we aren't having the best leadership in the world, and it's really fucking amazing when like somebody local steps up. But also, whoever his speechwriter is was really fucking great. And if it was him, fuck, he's amazing. But yeah, he just said basically, we're Minnesotans, man. We know what it's like to survive at 50 below zero. And I'm not going to sum them up because I'll start bawling like a bitch. So check out the link. It was really worth doing. But then I was, yesterday I was running around delivering food to kids because I'm a good guy like that. And I was listening to the 2:00 update. Like I try to catch that 2:00 update every day.
Sure.
It was awesome.
Really?
So, state of the state, he's all like, we're all in this together, da da da. And then he fucking lost his shit yesterday. He was getting some shit about two fucking politicians, I don't even know who they were, from Minnesota, basically talking shit about him on Fox News, saying that he was overreacting by extending this stay-at-home order, blah, 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 blah. And he said, but I loved it, right? He's
So
like,
my wife was just in Wisconsin yesterday. They have a 2.5, like it's like 2.5 times higher like
rate
than us.
Yeah.
So like if you don't think that we're doing shit right here, that's probably because you're a fucking idiot.
Well, he said this. He goes, "Do you think I'm making this shit up?" No, he didn't say that. But okay, this is in my words, not his words. He says,
You picked the wrong nigga to
But he
fuck
takes
with."
he takes this deep breath. He says, "You think I'm making this shit up?" I mean, seriously, I have the fucking like most incredible fucking scientists around me. Like, it's the fucking Mayo Clinic.
and the U of M and fucking.
Do you think these fucking people like are telling me like, nah, fuck it, just like lift the ban. He said, listen, if the fucking like hospitals like were to tell me today that they were ready and we could handle the peak, then fuck yeah.
Yeah,
of
for
course
sure.
I want you to fucking go back to work. Do you think I want to lock down this economy for like nothing? But I'm telling you, it's not worth the lives of our citizens to fucking do this. And he got like he didn't use any of those words, but that was a sentiment. And I was like, fuck yeah,
We will
Walls.
use those words for him.
Let's go to war. He was, but I thought I was just like, he's like sitting there, he goes, it was great. It was great. Yeah.
good
And
stuff.
I don't know. And everybody is so fucking political. And it's like, it's hard to be like, don't be political. And it doesn't
Man.
matter what team he's on. You know, and, I mean, and he's
Grown
on.
ups, not grown ups.
I mean, he's on my team, so like, yes, I liked him before, but I didn't know shit about him before. I didn't know anything about.
Well, the thing
Governor
is about
Walz
that,
before
like-
this incident.
I'm seeing a lot of people from the other team who really appreciate him, or like their appreciation for him is growing.
Right. Hey, I got to
and
tell you,
it's impressive,
I like
you know?
after 9/11, I remember uttering the words. Kind of ashamed of them actually, but I said, I said to a friend of mine, I said, you know, maybe this is the time period where you really want a cowboy to be your president. You know,
Yeah,
when he was
it's-
all like, you either with me or against me.
And then he invaded a country that had nothing to do with it.
And then I
But
was like,
whatever.
and then yeah, it didn't. Okay, but the point is that I did like. It's interesting to see how people like handle themselves in a crisis, and I've just been really impressed with the way that Walz has done it. But I'm serious. Check out that State of the State address, and good luck getting through that.
Really?
Fucking Meta was crying.
Okay,
Man.
I'm gonna go
Meta
home and watch it.
cried.
Yeah, I know. She's a lot tougher than you.
Shit, fucking. I don't even know what the right number is.
With the ratio?
Exponentially.
What the toughness ratio is?
She's exponentially tougher than I am. All right.
well,
Anything else you have on your not
no,
list?
I really got to pee.
All right, you fucking pussy. Holy shit. Hey, Jesus Christ! Get the sanitizer. No touchy. All right.
You know, the only reason we do this is because the work we do is so important
Yes. So incredibly important.
to us.
So, next week, we're going to be giving you a call. Maybe not you, but some of you will call.
Maybe you.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe.
we're going to ask what you've got on right now. Whatever.
Right. Perfect. All right. We love you. Stay safe. See you next time. So you guys know that Bible verse, the one from Footloose, you know? There's a time for everything. There's a time to, I don't know, do a bunch of shit, and there's a time to dance. Well, I've always thought there's a song for every occasion or every time period, and I was trying to figure out what song I wanted to play for this episode, and I was thinking about this album that my buddy Guante did back in the day. It's called Unwelcome Guest. I don't even think it's available anymore. I think it was like a limited release or something like that. But it was a concept album about the zombie apocalypse. And this song is called No Capes, and it's about Superman getting killed, and how that's okay, because he wasn't the real hero. The real heroes are the regular people who are doing what needs to get done.
They found Superman's body behind a Chinese buffet, cape over his head, wedged between dumpsters. And I ain't dude's biggest fan, but two kryptonite bullets just messed up that he went out like such a sucker. Just got bucked like one of us would, but it's poetic justice. He died in Southside Metropolis. Just look up in the sky, ain't no birds, no planes, and no solutions. Just a permanent curtain of smog, flickered the life by light pollution. Superman was a hero the most, but he never meant shit to me. Just little more than a prisoner with a life sentence, honoring us roaches with his friendship. But look who he defended: policy, property, and investments. Their truth, justice, an American way. But that was never our direction. Forced him to look into the sky for protection that never came, as he battled robots for the status quo, not for the people, and tried to spin it in the good versus evil. But it's just not a movie for us trying to one take life. Don't look for the sequel, look for the steeple. Ring every bell as though God had fallen and was fertilizing hell. We are not faithful, we just know flight does not make you an angel. The day after Superman died, everybody stopped looking up in the sky and started looking down at the ground like we have been heroes here this whole time. The day after Superman died, everybody just got back on the grind, cause there is work to be done, yo. No capes, but we stay fly. My hero is the janitor who organizes after-school programs in his off time. My hero is the amateur rapper who only makes $20 but spits all night. My hero is the independent journalist working under pressure that I can't imagine. My hero has got to be that single mother working 2 jobs yet still finding time to splash the canvas. My hero is the union organizer who stays disillusioned but he keeps moving. He says it's for the movement, and even if he doesn't live to see it, he'll make improvements for his kids, believe it. My hero is not a household name, she just runs a household day after day, no excuses. The superpowers dinner made on minimum wage for 2 teens and a first generation college student. My heroes are refugees, illegal immigrants sending money back home, conscious thugs, gay rappers, and hip-hop feminists who never had shit but a dream and some backbone. And none of us wear capes, none of us will ever be president, none of us will ever be Superman. We can only jump so high, but fuck it, feet to the earth, we are so fly. The day after Superman died, everybody stopped looking up in the sky and started looking down at the ground like we have been heroes here this whole time. The day after Superman died, everybody just got back on the grind, cause there is work to be done, yo. No capes, but we stay fly. 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 No capes.